I should probably tell you I hit live.
Oh, that's probably a good thing to know. I won't say any naughty words for a little bit.
Oh shit. Just muscle memory took over, man. Well, I guess it's a good time to start the show. We'll give it a couple more minutes for those, or couple minutes.
We
Give it a
should
couple
skip
more
that air
seconds for that stupid YouTube automatic ads. And then we'll say hi to the people. Hi, people.
Hi, everybody.
This is the show. I'm Monk. He's Jack. Say hi, Jack.
Hi, everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one, my friend.
It often is, isn't it?
How you been, dude?
Yeah, usual. You?
Usual. Happy but sore. You know how it goes.
Yeah, rub it in. I have a happy life, blah, blah, blah.
I really do. And I'm very thankful for it. And yeah. I suppose we should do a show though. Let's talk.
Technically, we're not on for another half an hour, so
that's true. So we can just fuck off for the next 28 minutes.
That's right. That's like pregame, right?
Yeah, it's the warm up. It's the warm up before we're our own opening act, Jack.
Yeah. Like I'm back here stretching and doing my cardio to get ready for the show.
There you go.
I'm not doing any of that. I'm fat.
Just for the record, man, I have not been paying attention to shit. Hey, what's up, Shroom? Thank you so much for becoming a member for month number 21. Says good morning, all. Good morning. Hope you've been well, my friend.
Morning, Shroom.
I've paid attention a little bit here and there. Like I know we got a new pope.
Oh yeah. He's I guess an American.
Yeah, from like Chicago. When I was told, hey, Nuts, how you doing, sweetie?
Hey, Stargazer.
When my wife was telling me about the new pope, I'd seen the night before. They're like, "Oh, still black smoke," which is kind of dark to only do black smoke. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you'd think black smoke would be like everything's gone horribly wrong because that's usually what you associate with black smoke.
After Notre Dame, isn't it kind of offensive?
I would think so. There should be a happier color, like emerald green.
Yeah, you can
powder blue.
You can color smoke. They do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we're not living in the 5th century anymore, guys. Come on, update your shit. I did not know that they install the chimney for that only when they have a new pope. Otherwise, it's sealed off.
Oh, I didn't know that either because I'm not Catholic and I don't pay that much attention.
Yeah, not being Catholic really kind of hurts you a little bit on that sort of knowledge. But I was watching this news clip and they were installing it, and I was like, "What the fuck are those guys doing on the roof? And why are they looking at that while they're talking about a pope?" And then they explained it. I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense."
You know why? It's because the Pope is delivered by Santa Claus.
Oh, does he have a special stork that drops popes?
Yes.
It's like a pterodactyl because it's got to be huge.
Yes. No, I'd seen the guy before, and that's the first time I've ever, because there've been a few popes in my lifetime, Jack.
Yeah.
Maybe pick them a little younger, guys. They'll last longer. But it's the first time I'd ever heard of the guy before he became pope, because that guy, archdiocese out there in Chicago, I'd seen him before. I was like, I know that dude. Not personally, but I felt
seen him.
I felt a little connection.
Oh. Well, what's his pope name? Pope Leo?
Leo, yes.
Who's like next? Donatello?
I hope so. He only went Leo. He didn't go Leonardo, which would have been cooler.
Granted. I mean, Raphael would have been a good choice too.
When you become pope, you get to pick your own name, and they always pick horrible names. And yes, I realized the last one had my name, but he didn't do much to help the Francis name, did he?
No, not really. He seemed to be a fairly unpopular guy.
He's no Frank Castle.
That's true. Oh my God, Pope Frank Castle.
That would be awesome.
I might convert for that one.
Almost nobody had heard of him. Of who? The new pope? If you pay attention to politics is usually where you see the cardinals pop up if you're not Catholic. That's how I could also identify the one from New York. I don't know his name, but I could identify him if I saw his picture.
Oh, that one is Archduke Ferdinand.
There you go. Be careful with him.
Yeah.
Explosive results.
Very. Results may vary into world wars. No, I my subscription to the Pope Times lapsed, so I'm not sure who any of these people are. I just know there's a bunch of dudes in robes getting in a room and doing secret stuff, and I assume they're playing Dungeons and Dragons without me. So, because anybody that's doing stuff in secret is probably doing something cool, and they didn't invite me, and I feel mildly offended by that, a little hurt.
I just want them to make it a little more fun instead of it being a vote. They should like at least play Hungry Hungry Hippos or something.
You would think so, but I mean, it's not even like a round robin. It's
No,
just sort of like most popular guy gets elected. So
it's like a weird version of Parliament.
yeah, I don't know. It's got a cool name too, Conclave.
Yeah,
You know, that sounds badass. And here you're just a bunch of dudes in robes voting, and now you gotta sexy that up a little bit with some strippers and swords or something. I don't know. It sounds so cool, and then it just looks so disappointing.
I think it sounds cool because we play like medieval games, and Conclave has a much different meaning.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. It's just like Rubicon. You're
Yeah.
crossing the Rubicon. It's the floor. You walked across the floor. Come on. But it sounds so cool.
Crossing.
Across the Rubicon.
That's
Say
it.
what you will about the Italians. They did give us some cool names for stuff.
They really did, yeah. All right, and they gave us hairy women if you like that.
Man, aging Italian women. Oof, that's a rough one. Look at Madonna.
Hey, they gave us girl sideburns, which some chicks actually do look cool with. So I got to give them credit on that.
Yeah, but then they hit like 60 and they all have beards and mustaches and
Well,
shit.
then you make them shave, man.
Get that electrolysis shit. Remove that. I ain't kissing you. I don't want to kiss no dude.
Shave them down. Oh, God. It's going to be a rough show.
It's going to be a long day. Real quick before we start, thank you from 3 days ago, Kamala's vaginal HPV tumor, for the generous donation. So I was back in California, San Francisco Bay Area, to help with some family stuff. I needed cash, no big deal. I'll just stop by a 7-Eleven or gas station. No dice. Stopped at 5 places. No ATMs. They keep getting stolen, is in quotes.
Wow.
Physical bank locations also shuttered. Wow.
How you steal an ATM?
Oh, there's videos on that on YouTube. People just back right into the glass doors, throw some chains around it, and drive off.
I don't know how they don't get caught. That's got to destroy the road.
Well, they do occasionally throw them in the beds of trucks, so I imagine that's how they get away with it. But you ever seen anyone try to break into one of those things?
Yeah, it's not easy to do.
Complete fucking waste of time.
Kamala's vaginal HPV tumor. Thank you so much from the other day. Hey, have been able to catch you live. Family got me a pair of Bluetooth connected hearing protection, so I've been listening at work. I would like to offer a toast to Black people for taking it all in stride. Everybody's overly sensitive these fucking days, man. My old man would never submit to what?
To his ATM getting stolen?
I have no idea. Anyway, man, what else has been going on in the world? I know we got some Congress people breaking into ICE camps and a mayor getting arrested. I saw a thing where that mayor got arrested. Said, first Trump came for the judges. Now he's arresting mayors. And I'm like, fuck, now I got to read this. And so I looked into it, and that mayor deserves to get arrested.
Yeah. Yeah, there's plenty of video, and they haven't even released the body cam videos yet. But there's a bunch of media around. So what happened was they went to this ICE detention center. I think it's in New Jersey. That would make sense why the Newark mayor was there.
Yep.
But it was him and a couple of Congress people, and they tried to force their way in. Now,
well, they kind of did force their way in.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
Okay.
The ICE agents were trying to get them to leave because there's a mob there. And then the gate opened. It's a little unclear how that happened. And then they stormed in there and they started throwing hands at the guards. Like the one lady, LaMonica, there's video of her punching one of the guards poorly. Granted, it was like an overhand toddler strike, but she's punching one of the female guards and she shoved her way past one of them as well. Like shoved her right out of the way, just barreled in because she's a big fat woman. But that woman has not been arrested yet, and she should be. Everybody that stepped foot across the threshold should be arrested for breaking and entering. Trespassing outside the gate, breaking and entering inside. Because even the gated area is considered trespassing because you're not on a public easement. You're in the driveway.
The Congress ladies, wow, look at this, the bald head. Is this the Predator?
Maybe.
Can we see my? Hang on, let me.
I could see that. I'm just trying to.
What the fuck is going on there?
I don't know, but that
is that what hair plugs look like on black people?
I don't know what that is, but I'm kind of scared.
Anyway,
predators are taller, so
yeah. Well, maybe it's a girl predator.
Oh yeah. Well, I think some of the agents had opened the gate a little bit to come out and disperse the crowd because they kept telling them to leave.
Yeah, I'm going to turn off the sound and we'll play it as we talk about it here.
Watch that fat bitch in red up front there. She's shoving people, barreling past them. But, all these are on my timeline if you want to watch them, guys. There's a bunch of video clips. There she's throwing her fist.
Yeah, we have assault and battery here.
Yeah, on a federal official? Yeah, that's not a light sentence either. Like, even if it's a pussy hit like that, you can't do that to the feds. Normal people would spend 3 to 5 in prison. Federal pound me in the ass prison too.
Yeah, I saw somebody what was it they said that the governor of the state needs to pardon them like this oh no, they said that the DA will never prosecute them. Like they're charged with federal crimes. The Newark mayor is charged with a federal crime.
Yeah, and that would be Pam Bondi and Kristi Noem's realm, because Kristi Noem's in charge of DHS and Pam Bondi is the Attorney General.
You know what I would not be doing if I was one of these Democrat idiots? Giving Pam Bondi an actual reason to throw me in prison.
Yeah, especially after her boss was targeted for political reasons already, and he's kind of looking for a little bit of revenge, maybe. And they've been screaming that since, he's gonna become a dictator. Yeah, and you're pushing your luck with this shit.
The two congresswomen who went in, they've not been charged yet. They might be in the future, but they said, hey, we're Congress and we have oversight, so we can come in, which is not how it works. But what really made me laugh was the mayor of Newark. He said, some of our citizens are reportedly in there, so I have a right to be there too.
That's not how that works, dude.
Yeah, that's federal land, not New Jersey land.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You can petition to get in there, but you can't just force your way in. And this guy has said some pretty strange things in the past, some pretty horrible things. He is not a good person. Well, he's like one of those Tariq Nasheed followers.
Oh,
yeah.
So he's real dumb.
Yeah, he's got some really interesting ideas. And by interesting, I mean stupid and ludicrous. Real quick, though, thank you, Shio. Dude, that's funny, but I can't read that. You know why. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Something I kind of want to brag about is, while arguing against people wanting to give porn to children, I had one of them actually report me to my state police. I got reported to the police for not wanting kids to have porn. Square the circle, I can't. Dude, we live in weird times. He wants to deny pornography.
What? I don't know how to ask this exactly, but what was the argument? You know what I mean? Because sometimes, the argument, And I'm not going to back the other person in any way because there's no way that should be happening. But I'm curious how they dressed it up.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's one of those I didn't get my way things. That's what I would guess, because that's
But
usually how those babies act.
there's always a broken logic to it. And that's the part that intrigues me, is the broken logic of these people. Anyway, yeah, so this went on, and fuck these people. Fuck them right in the ass. They're dumb. And I'm tired of our leaders. Look, she's not a congressman from here or where you live, Jack, but she is a United States congresswoman. And I know what's her name? What is it?
LaMonica?
LaMonica. Black people, can y'all explain something to me? There's a couple of y'all in the audience here. How does it make the name black to add "la" to the beginning of it?
Maybe they're from Louisiana.
I see that a lot. That or "duh." I had a friend way back in the day. His name was Sean. I'm like, why didn't your mom just name you Sean?
Because he's the Sean.
Sean. Like,
I met a guy named Tree once.
I get it.
Yeah,
but
I don't. Like, stop giving your kids stupid names. You're just holding them back. They don't sound unique. They don't sound like they're special. They just sound weird, and nobody wants to be around them then. And they're not going to get jobs because it's too weird, and nobody wants to screw up your name.
I had to be. She says, "Hell if I know." I don't get it. I really don't. Just we all used to be named Tim and Steve and Brad. Well, maybe not Brad. That's a more gayer edition.
Well, what the hell was wrong with Tyrone?
No, Tyrone was a great black name.
Yeah, it's a strong name. What about Trevor? You never hear that name anymore. It's not a bad name. It's pretty masculine. Trevor.
You can't name your kid Trevor after GTA 5 came out, man.
I never played that, so.
He's introduced to the franchise banging a meth whore.
And
Trevor's a horrible part. Do not.
I already said I'd bang that chick that dropped the N-bomb, so
I'm still named Tim.
Are low.
I just don't understand how "la" or "duh" adding that to, like, I've seen like La Rachel. Like, what? No, just Rachel. There's nothing wrong with that name.
Stick with a nice common name. Let them blend in, and nobody will be any the wiser. I mean, seriously, stop trying to look different. Start trying to look like everybody else.
No, see, I don't even mind that. If you're gonna look different, though, it goes to this culture thing, right? And a lot of this change in the name came with the pro Africa movement. Remember that stupid shit in the 90s?
Yeah, if you're not from Africa, don't have an African name.
No, but these aren't African names. There is nobody in fucking Africa named Laquanda.
I would feel bad if they were. Because, in Africa, if you have the accent, it sounds cool. Like, I don't care what your name is. My name is Quentin. You have an awesome accent, and then you're gonna fuck it up by being La Quentin over here. That nobody's La Quentin. You can
use
have a
actual
regular name. Sounds awesome.
Actual African names like Siri.
Yeah, see, that's a cool name. You say it with an accent, though, it sounds even better. That sounds sexy and exotic. Like you could be a pirate with that name.
Just if you're gonna go for African names, go for African names. If you're gonna go for, it'd be like somebody from England deciding Edward's not good anymore because we got to be white, so we got to name it Mayorward.
Mayorward. That sounds like the most English aristocrat white guy name ever. Oh, welcome to Mayorward.
There's some really cool African names, and we get LaRonda. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's that pseudo Africana.
That's stupid.
It's really stupid. But again, you see that with a lot of things. Like if you hear a Spanish last name and you hear a Spanish person say it, sounds awesome. Like Eric Roberts always did a really good one for this from the Dark Knight Return, or from the Dark Knight, when he gets stopped and he's like, "Who's the other traitor?" He goes, "Ramirez." See, that sounds badass. You got a little spin on it, but you get some white dude saying like Ramirez.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound cool anymore. Leave it staying cool. Don't try and sexy it up. You're not doing it. Just leave it to the people with the cool accent to do it.
Thank you, Frosted Glass. Says go with traditional African name like malaria.
Oh, I don't know if that's an African name.
Fairly certain that's Latin, ain't it? Almost all medical shit is Latin.
Yeah, although Ebola.
Maybe.
That's
That's named after the river, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. A province or something. It's a regional name. Real quick, thank you, Latrine. Could be worse. My white boy brother named his daughters River, Meadow, and Brook. I would disown him immediately for that. Now throw in my hillbilly family into the mix, and you have my cousins Pee Wee and April, May, June. All real names. April, May, June is one name. There's no commas.
Thank you, Dangerous Spaces. First, Trump had judges arrested. Now he's doing it to Congresswoman. I mean, apart from this being a bullshit, let me offer some advice from a Jim Carrey movie. Stop breaking the law, asshole. Yes. No, but they won't. Instead, they're going to pretend that these people did nothing wrong.
They're already screaming racism because the Newark mayor's black. No, you broke the fucking law, dude.
Not said La Malaria. Stop it.
La Malaria. That sounds like La Llorona. Which, by the way, scary fucking story if you're a kid. And great fucking name. La Llorona. See, that sounds scary. Like, oh, I don't want to mess with that chick. But she kills children, not adults. So I'm perfectly fine. You know, except college students in that one movie. But that's neither here nor there.
I just think it's a disservice to your children to give them made up names that don't even sound like names when there's beautiful ones out there. If you really want to, honor your heritage.
Yeah.
Look.
Just don't name them any variation of Chandra or Destiny. Those are stripper names.
As a, somebody with Gaelic past, as so many of us do in the United States, I would never name my kid anything traditional because nobody can pronounce that shit.
Well, you don't have enough phlegm.
Like, and it's spelled Tim. Like, that's not what those letters spell.
Yeah, it's all like, no, it's got to be like Susan or Bethany. That's as exotic as I'm getting. Because I can't pronounce names, and that's half the reason I fucking hate doing that.
Evolved Potato, thank you. The break-in logic is the idiot denied that any porn was ever given to children, to child libraries. So somehow me acknowledging that it does happen and that I didn't want it to happen means I'm a pedo because I don't know. Okay. Yeah, these people we've seen school meetings where they're like, we're going to need you to not read that book that's in the children's library because it's a little too graphic for this meeting of adults.
Yeah. That's always a warning sign, isn't it?
There was one going around the other day where this woman was going to pass images to a board. I can't remember if it was a county board or a school board. And it's hard to tell what she was passing them. Because online, everybody was saying she was passing them stuff from books. But if you listen to what she says, it actually kind of sounded like she had child porn.
Well, and if they came out of one of those books that we always talk about, it could have been.
Well, they said that the board, I want to say it was a county board. It could have been a school board. But they're like, we don't pass that to us because that could get you in trouble. If it would get her in trouble for passing it to you, you should be calling the police right then because it'd be wrong for her to have.
Yeah.
That's how those laws work. Comrade Kitty, thank you so much. Member for month number 22. My brother's two youngest are Easton and Sutherland. Was waiting on a North and West name. Blame his ex-wife.
Man. If my wife said I want to name our kid Sutherland, I'd be like, that better be named after Donald Sutherland. So his name is Donald. And no, or we're getting a divorce. And I'm going to get that kid from you.
Please extend my apologies to your nephews for our collective race being retarded. I mean, the human race.
There was a guy. Sorry.
Rodline, thank you. You are making me feel bad for naming our son Blaze. Oh, you didn't. Oh, I'm not going to make fun of your child, but call him Steve for short. No, not Steve, because Steve's an asshole. Call him Frank. Frank's a good name.
Or Larry.
Not Larry. Larry always makes me think of Three's Company, and that dude was creepy.
That dude was awesome. What are you talking about?
Nobody was awesome in the 70s.
I don't know. That dude got a lot of tang, I bet.
He did, but it was passed out at the time.
Well, look, he was proto Quagmire. I met this guy whose kid was named Nova, and his middle name was Dude.
Nova Dude.
He called him Dude all the time, and I didn't know it for years. But later on, I found out that the kid's actual name was Nova Dude, and then their last name. And they had a real common last name, so I'm not saying it on here, obviously, because the kid's like 25 now. But Jesus Christ, you named your kid Nova, first of all. Don't do that. Don't name him after celestial bodies. Unless you're going to name your kid Perseus and he's going to fight a kraken. No, don't do that shit, okay?
No, I think
may be acceptable. I don't know.
A kid named Gaseous Cloud would be awesome.
Right? Well, I've met people named Nebula. Nova, obviously. So there's all kinds of people. Luna. Met a Luna once. Your parents are very unoriginal people. I don't like them.
Bubba says, conceived in a Chevy Nova. There was a comedian who used to talk about black names back in the day. Bobby. Fuck, I can't think of his name. But he said at the time, black people were naming their kids wherever they had sex. And it was funny because I had a friend at the time whose name was Trenton.
Oh, like New Jersey?
Like New Jersey. And I asked him if his parents had conceived him in New Jersey, and he didn't get the joke. Trenton was not a smart kid.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly didn't know his geography.
Really nice kid. A really nice guy, but dumb as a brick. Even the teacher used to make fun of him.
That's always bad.
That is 100% true.
Yeah, real quick. Thank you, Frosted Glass, who says, on one episode of The Corner, we played a game where I'd read a name and everyone had to guess if it was a Welsh town or a Lovecraftian god. It was pretty difficult. I called it Lovecraft or Love Sheep. That's awesome. Oh, by the way, Frosted, sorry, I didn't get your message until like 11 o'clock. So I apologize for not getting back to you in a timely manner.
Well, and I say Actual Justice Warrior comes around now and then, and his name is Sean, but it is the Irish spelling Sean. That is seen, and we all know it.
Yeah. I had a friend in high school named Sean, but it was Shawn.
Yeah.
And this one kid would always give him shit and call him Scene. And he's like, it's not spelled that way. For like 2 years, this guy did not understand. It was not spelled Sean.
In my friend group with Deshaun, there were two other Seans, all black for the record. And one was Shawn, one was Shaun. And then
that's a rare one.
The other friend in the group was Delmont.
This is my buddy Sean, and Delmont.
Delmar.
Delmar. Delmar.
Delmar.
Delmar's not a bad name.
It was Deshaun, Sean, Delmar, and Frank. Can you guess which one the white kid was?
Well, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out, dude. It's a coin flip between Sean and Frank. No, it's Frank, okay?
It's Frank.
It's Frank.
Anyway.
Real quick. Thank you, Alan, for the generous donation. Good to hear you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. And I hope you're doing well also. Have a good weekend. Do something exciting. Because I'm not gonna. I'm gonna be boring.
We've spent the first half of this show talking about names.
We get off on some random tangents that usually get us called racist for some reason.
I'm in so much pain. I don't even give a fuck tonight.
Right? And thank you, Comrade Kitty. I met a 3-year-old with that weird Twilight name. You know, the one nicknamed Nessie. And yes, a white family. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, look, there's something about like really poor people and really dumb people that give everybody dumb names. Now, if your parents are immigrants, that's a different story altogether. They're from the old world. They're sticking with the old world traditions, and they're going to give you a name that usually is from the old country. Fine, I get that, but you're third generation or so. There's no fucking excuse for that shit anymore. Tell your parents to blend in. Tell them to knock it off and find a name that they could live with.
Thank you, Alan, who says, "Morning, monkey. Good morning, sir. Hope you're well." Here's the thing, though. Most times when you have first generation immigrants and they have their kids here, they name them something like Bob or Mike or David, and that's how you end up with like David Cho. And something happens about 3 generations in when they're suddenly like, no, this is Sucksum Cho. Like, you have never even seen the homeland. What are you talking about? Your homeland is here, David.
Right? You ever go to a Chinese restaurant and hear like somebody yelling in Chinese, and then they say the like most common European sounding name, like, "Oh yeah, Catherine."
Yes.
What?
That is some weird third generation shit where they're like, no, we gotta honor the country our parents hated so much they left.
I used to go to this Chinese restaurant and they had the hottest waitresses. Like, I don't know if there was like a selection process at whatever shipping container they picked these girls up at, but they had the hottest waitresses. And I was getting along really well with this one, and her name was Train, as in the choo-choo. I thought I don't even care. There was another chick there named Bing that I got along with really well, and I was like, "Bingo is her name." Oh,
I see what you did.
Yeah, I was a dirty pervert.
Totally off topic, but I realized something the other day. One of our viewers, I want to say it was Retro. Retro, you around? Was it you? Showed their Warhammer figurines and the painting that they'd done.
Oh yeah,
and I realized something. Warhammer figurines are just the modern day electric train sets.
Ouch.
No, I don't mean that as an insult. It's something apparently with us men where we get so into something that takes meticulous nonsense for us to do it right. And it becomes like an absolute compulsion.
You have to have hobbies. You go insane. I'm convinced of that.
I don't have the what's the word? Dedication for something like that. That's why I play video games instead. But I really do think the 40K painting and stuff, that is just, if this was the 1960s, those guys would be building model trains
and slot cars.
Oh yeah.
That's the loneliest. We did a long time ago. I worked for a fanzine, and we did a poll of the readership of what is the saddest, loneliest hobby, and slot cars won hand down, and it offended one of the guys because he was a big slot car person. He has this huge track in his house.
There you go.
And I was like, dude, you're sad and lonely.
Got a big old slot car track, but no woman in there with him.
Yeah, there was. Oh, yeah. Well, if you ever saw him, you're like,
lonely.
That dude's got children locked in his basement.
Thank you, Dangerous. Just don't do that thing of naming your kids after where they were conceived. That's how you get the awkward conversation of why your kid is named Escort, despite you not owning a car at the time. There you go. Ham radio. Yeah, ham radio is another one. They're men, and it's not a big portion of men. It's always small pockets, but there's these weird little things that they'll get into and get so obsessed with. I wonder if they've ever done like psychological studies on that.
Probably, but it's probably like because most
Oh.
guys have like hardcore hobbies, and it's just their zen time. That's when they channel their energy into just pure themselves, focused on that, their own thoughts. And they process through things. I think men need that. It's how we get innovation.
My little brother was like that with sports back in the day. He was one of those guys who, at the time, he's gone on to other things since, but late teens, early 20s, he could tell you the exact stats of like everybody in the major leagues.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, take that brain power and do something else with it.
Yeah, it's part of like the creative flow that gives us like innovation, because a lot of people dedicate that to like inventions or gadgetry, and other people dedicate it to more passive hobby stuff. And it's just how you deal with stuff sometimes, like get rid of some of your stress. I always found painting incredibly stressful, which is why when I went to the game conventions or the tournaments and stuff, everybody hated playing me. Oh, hey, Dixie Rose. So for example, there's people that do intricate detail work and they do like shading, and they're like, oh, check out this fading technique I've got. And I'm like, I dip my figures in 3 buckets of paint. One all the way in, one halfway, and then just ahead. And that's my tournament legal figure.
Yeah, mine would look like I let my granddaughters paint it.
Oh yeah, that's my
And
paint jobs. It just looked like spastics did it.
not even like the older granddaughters, like the youngest of the two, or the youngest of the 5, the one and newborn. Yeah,
mine looked like a toddler was finger painting my miniatures. There were no decals. I didn't do any of that flashy shit. I just needed 3 colors on there. Tournament legal. And it looked like that's as much effort as I put into it.
I have an admiration for those guys. I mean, they do some amazing work, and I'm just like, can't you buy a colored one?
I mean, I was started buying minis that were pre-painted on eBay because it was easier.
There you go.
Or have my friends paint them, because then I don't have to. But yeah, it was I hated painting, and they were like so sick of me taking these janky looking miniatures that I paid like $8 a piece for, because they were metal at the time. And they're like, man, you spent all that money and that's what you come up with? Hey, I'm tournament legal. I don't know about that. Yeah, it's got 3 colors. Shut up. And like the bases have paint slopped on them where I failed at doing their feet and shit. They're like, you should not glue it down. I don't care. I want to roll dice, not sit around and paint. Painting is stressful to me because I'm not a detail person on that. And they'd get all pissed off. And then if I beat them, it was even worse because they spent all this time on these beautiful minis. And I'd come in and be like, I'm you guys. Yeah, I got 6s. Your guy's dead.
You got beat by the Tard Army. Your voice you were just doing there reminds me of something else I want to talk about. Because I had a $1 million idea, Jack.
Uh-oh.
It's a $1 billion idea, actually.
Are we gonna harvest retard saliva and use it as a new form of glue?
Kind of. Okay, so we talked before about these people who are trying to get folks to their OnlyFans pages by pretending to be downsy. There's an actual filter out there to make you look downsy.
Oh my God.
And these girls are using that filter to pretend that they're downs to get people to come to their OnlyFans page. And while we talked about it before, Charlie just did a video on it today, and I had a thought. We have so much access to naked women. There are so many naked women on the internet that in order to get noticed, people pretended to be disabled to to be retarded. And that actually got some people going to their pages. Well, that's everybody's doing it. Yeah, it is gross. What's even grosser is that there's an audience for it. What the fuck?
It's all JFK side notes.
I think downsies are cute as shit. They look like a misprint doll, and it's wonderful. But I've never looked at one and went, I gotta have me some of that.
I want to see its boobies. What?
No. Because I imagine the eyes or the nipples are like proportionate to the eyes, so they're way too far apart.
The one's like way down and the other one's way up. It might be the third one in there.
And their belly button looks like a crooked smile. But anyway, eventually this is going to get so saturated that women are going to have to come up with a new idea. And I got it.
Oh.
If downsies will get people in, what about a sloth filter from Goonies?
Oh, wow. Like a deformity filter?
Yeah, like one of the eyes is down on the cheek and the other one's up in the forehead.
Oh, I've got a name for it. The Voorhees.
Oh, that would be wonderful. Howard. Oh. I don't know if I can read that, Johnny. Okay. So how are them titties drooling? Oh shit. Yeah, exactly, lunatic. There could be part of the filter that, like, if you open your mouth, it goes, "Hey, you guys, come see my OnlyFans." I think it's $1 million idea. Thank you, Frosted. Hey, baby, your bell tower or mine? I know, right? I am really just shocked that that's somebody actually thought of that, Jack. Somebody's like, we got to get attention. How can we get attention on my OnlyFans? I know, Downs. And apparently they have ones for pretending to be an amputee as well.
Oh my God.
I remember when porn used to have hot chicks in it?
Yeah, they used to all try and be pretty. Now they're all trying to look like gimps and cripples and freaks.
Now,
are we gonna get some lobster people next?
Johnny said, I'd apologize, but it'd be disingenuous. I don't want you to apologize for that. That was funny.
Never apologize for being funny.
We will meet you in hell when it's your turn.
Yeah. We'll save you a room.
Do you think any of these girls are like, now I gotta prove that I'm downsy, and like, so they like put a little water in their bottom lip, and as they're doing their little dance, let a little come out?
Yeah, they have to drool a little. I don't know. They blow snot bubbles too. Like, do they do the full effect? I pooped myself.
All I've seen is the clips that have shown up on Twitter when that first blew up, and then I watched part of Charlie's video today. What is wrong with people, man?
I don't know. We live in really disturbing times.
This is what you brought us, because you made it too easy for us to see you naked, and now to be seen, you got to pretend to be retarded.
Yeah, just pretend my dick is a crayon. You don't want her biting it off and eating it.
No shit. I
thought of that Cronenberg movie too, Pedro. Oh, sorry, what?
I'm so disgusted with the human race.
Well, I blame feminism for this. It's obviously women's fault because they're the gatekeepers to sex, and they've made it easy throwing their puss everywhere.
Yeah, you don't see no downsy male models.
No, because nobody wants to be around somebody with that kind of strength, and get all gorilla strength and rip your clothes off and your arm comes off with it. No, nobody wants to look at that. They throw poop at you. No, nobody needs that kind of pressure, man. Charles
asks if it's real. Nobody has, how do I put this? That I know of, nobody has tested it. The people who've talked about it, and I'm not paying for any of these weirdos OnlyFans. We do know a lot of them are fake, though, because they'll like be dancing and they'll turn around and they turn back and their face is normal for half a second, and then the downsy filter kicks in.
Oh yeah, they gotta tighten that shit up.
Yeah, you don't want to be jerking it and she turns her head and turns back and suddenly her eyes move. And I don't mean like they roll in her head. I mean actually physically move on her face.
Yeah, it'd be like banging Jim Carrey in The Mask.
Can you imagine if you're okay, I'm sorry. Imagine you're one of the guys who's really into that and you're like, "Oh, I finally found a real one." And you're just going to town and then she moves just wrong and the mask slips for half a second and you can't finish because you're disappointed she wasn't a real Downsy.
Or you're finishing right as the mask slips, and then you feel like dirty for having wanked it to a normie. That's
That's
when you have to go seek help.
that's the world we live in, that there's somebody out there who is upset that these are not real Downsies.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some Downsy real dolls before long, and it'll
Can
all be AI generated smoothly, so you can't tell
can you
unless
get
you're
your
like,
money back from OnlyFans for them not being actually retarded?
I don't know. I mean, it would be kind of like a fraud, wouldn't it? Wow, what the
Either
fuck, guys?
it
Hey, you go.
is.
We didn't create it. We're just saying.
We're just talking about something that's going on in our society right now. We didn't do this shit.
Yeah, we did destroy society on our own. I mean, we're not fixing it, but that's a little out of our league, I think. I blame older
Apparently,
boys.
apparently Bravo is doing the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. I
Why? They
I
try to
don't
find somebody with Innsmouth disease. Have
I
you met
I
anyone from Rhode Island? They're weird. They're like the rejects from
wondering
Massachusetts.
I'm wondering if these people have ever met Real Housewives. Because I
Oh,
guarantee
probably
there's
not.
another one where it's a bunch of rich ladies who
Oh yeah.
barely know their kids, that you never see the husbands in the episodes. I want them to go to a trailer park or to a ghetto. I want them to go get Real Housewives
Yeah.
and do that show.
I mean, there's enough drama with regular women. They don't need to
Yeah.
go hunting for it.
Well, no, see, the Real Housewives isn't actually about being Real Housewives. It's what they do to women. It's so mean what they do to women. Like, look how rich and famous this chick is. You're not her. It's mean, Jack. But it lets women live vicariously because then they'll be like, ooh, I hate that Karen bitch. Like, who's Karen? She's on my TV. Because women like to hate other women, Jack. It's
That's true.
part of their nature. But yeah, they're gonna just go follow some more rich women around, be like, look at this Real Housewife. Bitch ain't never touched a vacuum in her life. Bitch ain't out there working. She living off her daddy or her sugar daddy money. Having somebody else raise her kids, somebody else make the food, and they're like, look, Real Housewife. Yeah.
Right. No, show me
Right.
the like just film it in a trailer park and
Yes.
focus on those women who are like working a job and trying to take care of their kids and deal with neighbor drama because they're all close together and somebody's got a pit bull that they don't leash and they don't have a fence and all that bullshit that goes along with it. And the meth lab 4 doors down exploded and killed 8 people. And then you got like the dads that are like long haul truckers working hard for a living or working at the factory, and they just come home and like, oh god, fucking TV crew's still here.
And
That'd be
I would
way more
watch that.
interesting.
I would watch that. And
Yeah,
that kind of
it
segues
would be
into
more honest.
yeah, and it segues into what I really wanted to talk about,
Oh, we
which
have a topic?
no, but
Oh,
while I've been away from you guys, I haven't done very much at all, except as I was telling you, Jack, watch an ass load of body cam footage,
yeah, because it's fun.
like hours and hours and hours. And
Hmm.
I was addicted to it because these people are I've been somebody my whole life, literally ever since I can remember, or even from stories from before I can remember from other people. I have been defiant, Jack. With my mother, with my teachers, with any kind of authority figure, there's a defiant streak in me.
Some would say oppositional defiant.
Yeah, I really am. And I know it's a problem and I have to bite my tongue more often than I want. But I watch these people and I'm just shocked that there's nothing in their brain that says, shut up.
It's shocking how many people do not have self-restraint. Like, I understand sometimes your blood gets going and you get a little hot-headed and you say something stupid. We've all done that, right?
Sure.
But there's a time and a place where you're like, I'd get in trouble for this, like real trouble. I'm just going to be quiet now. I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment.
I will say this, almost all of the body cam footage I saw was women, and 95% of them were drunk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I could not deal with that. I could not be a police officer these days because I would beat somebody to death or shoot them on day one,
Oh,
probably an hour into my shift. So that's why I don't do that.
I realized as I was watching this, I mean, we've talked about, what they've done to women and how they've ruined women in our society.
Mm-hmm.
But it is amazing how many of them think that they can literally do whatever they want, and all they have to do is go, that's illegal, and they think it actually is. You
Yeah,
can't
there's
do
that.
that. That's not how the law works. Like, it's actually exactly how the law works.
Yeah, it's like you can't film me in this public building.
Yes.
Yes, I can. It's pure public, idiot.
Oh, I got to tell you about my favorite one I watched. It's this French family, and they were in
Oh, God.
Florida for a wedding.
Oh, Florida. Okay, you have me intrigued. French people in Florida. Oh,
And-
this is going to be good. Are they mimes? Because that's the only way that a Florida man's story could be improved.
No, they're actually this really upscale family. They are wearing really, really nice clothes. They flew the whole family to fucking Florida for a wedding. So they're well-off people, and they look well off, and the police get called because they're okay, so the party is dissipated and they haven't. And the hotel's like, we just want them to go to their fucking room. So the cops come in like, you need to go to your rooms. And there's this female cop who says, you need to go to your rooms. Now let me introduce you to the French people. You have a French dad who's about 50, maybe 60. You have French mom who's about 50, maybe 60. And then you have their daughter who's mid-20s. And when the cop tells them, you guys need to go to your room, the daughter decides, don't nobody tell her what to do, and she lays hands on the cop.
Oh, I'm sorry, we're not in your Bribistan country. You don't get to do that here.
So she slaps the female cop on the hand, and then she swats at the guy cop who's there too and hits him. So she catches a couple charges for assaulting a police officer. Over the next 10 minutes, as they're trying to take care of her, the dad won't shut the fuck up and get out of the way.
So now he's interfering because he's in the way.
And so they detain him. They haven't decided if they're going to arrest him or not, but they do put him in cuffs and put him in the back of the car.
Because he's getting in the way. If he wasn't getting in the way, that'd just be like, shut up, you're being annoying.
At which point, the mom, in front of police officers, drops to her knees and says, I'm going to kill myself.
Well, you're going to a psych ward now, you stupid bitch. 72-hour hold.
And that is exactly what happened. All they had to do was get in the fucking elevator and go up to the room that they had in this hotel. And instead, all three of them ended up locked up.
Wow. Yeah, I get it. I mean, first of all, these are Florida cops. They're not normal cops. They have to deal with like people on bath salts eating faces and shit like that.
Sure.
So there's a lot of crazy that goes on. So as soon as somebody drops down and says they're gonna self-harm, they've got to go because they're probably double dangerous in Florida, and they probably don't recognize the accent. And they think they're Cajun Louisiana people, and if you've ever met Cajuns, they're sort of like Louisiana Florida men.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't take your chances with them because they wrestle gators and shit like that, and they're usually incomprehensible like the regular French. And the daughter, of course, beat a dumb shit. They're going to arrest her, but probably would reduce the charges. But then the dad's getting in the way. So now that girl's charges are going up, and he's probably going to jail. because he's not getting out of the way and just saying, "You need to stop, honey." Yeah, a lot of people talk themselves into jail. It's just the way it is.
The mom one was the one that really blew me away. And maybe that's just some shit they say in French. Is that something y'all do? You'd be like, I'm gonna kill myself. It's some kind of weird thing. I'd think about it a lot if I was French.
Well, I mean, thankfully you're not, because
Yeah.
you're not smelly and you don't have a bizarre love of pastries and disgusting
You
armpit hair.
For those of you who don't know, you can't say shit like that to a cop. You will end up in a 72-hour hold.
Yeah, and it's not going to be fun, especially if it's a Friday.
Maybe you get out after a day, they'd be like, nah, she was just, being
Do you really want to?
hyperbolic.
Yeah, I mean that's the obvious one is they'll probably just kick her loose after a few hours because they're going to do
Oh,
an
no.
evaluation on her.
Apparently in Florida, at least according to the cop, that is a mandatory 72.
We have that.
Yeah.
I think we still have that here where it's mandatory 72 hours. But there are states where they could kick you loose after they do an evaluation and they figure out you're
Right.
just being a whiny. But do you really want to go to a Florida mental hospital?
No.
Any kind of hospital on a psych hold. They're going to put you in with the craziest people in Florida. Like people, you've seen the guy walking around with the alligator in the convenience store shit. That guy wasn't arrested for a psych hold. No, he was just drunk.
Yeah.
that was normal. Even the dude that ate somebody else's face barely got arrested for that. Like, they put him in regular jail.
Have you guys seen Scribe's Gene Stealers? No.
No, I didn't know Scribe played 40K.
I want to tell you about another one, Jack, because this is my second favorite. Police get called. This guy calls the police because somebody knocked on his door in horrible pain. I'll tell you about his pain in a second. So the police show up, and this guy is sitting on the ground against a post. And they're like, what's up? And he said, my girlfriend bit me in the testicles.
Oh,
She bit him in the testicles so hard it made him bleed.
oh, lady, what? Why?
Oh no, this gets much better. She thinks he is cheating on her with his general practitioner.
What?
So she seduced him, and to punish him for it, bit his testicles. Yeah.
I guess that's a thing that's happening out in the world.
Now for the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. They're both homeless.
Oh, of course they are.
They live in tents behind where the people live. And so now the cops, in the middle of the fucking night, have to go out into the jungle to find this woman's tent. Which
Jesus.
Logical Male, thank you. Hey, fellas, I just want to ask if Shiloh Hendricks was morbidly obese, would the so-called right still call her based? Probably, because it has nothing to do with her. She is ancillary to the whole thing.
I think there would be fewer of them because, I mean, if you're morbidly obese, people just instinctively are displeased on some level. I did throw the link in for the people that didn't see the meth coon.
Oh yeah, he's cute.
Yeah, it's adorable. Raccoon with a meth pipe.
You're the reason I ended up in this rabbit hole because you'd sent me that video, and
what? I wouldn't do such a thing.
Started watching a bunch of them.
I'm a good boy. I didn't do nothing.
They finally find this woman's tent, and she's in it. She's wearing a bra and a shirt and nothing else.
Oh, jeez. She's got a taste for the testicle blood now.
So the cop's like, okay, we got to take you. She goes, can I put some pants on? He goes, fine, just make it quick. So she goes into her tent and she's taking her sweet ass time to the point where the cop pulls out his taser and like, you need to hurry up and get out here. She finds a pair of shorts. They're not hers. And even though she's huge, they are way too big for her. So she throws them back in and goes back in to start digging. And the cop's like, you need to get out here right now or I'm going to tase you. At which point, this woman with no pants on starts kind of squat dancing at him.
She's trying to go for his nuts.
Saying, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't going to tase me. Go ahead, do it. At which point, he tased her 4 fucking times.
Jesus, we probably had to. She's a bigger girl.
Oh my God, I was laughing.
She's got that hobo strength. You know, what do they call that? Methamphetamine.
Meth, yeah. I couldn't stop watching this shit. I was amazed. Most of it is just your normal drunk women, which that gets boring after a while. But every so often you get, she bit my testicles.
Somebody said, Raccoon. Faithless said it. There's a movie about that. It's called Raccoon. It's obviously riding the coattails of Cocaine Bear. I bought a copy. It's sitting right here waiting for me to watch it, right under my copy of Sky Sharks.
I think it was on Gutfeld. They were making jokes that they should make that movie. Apparently they already have.
Oh, well, somebody already did.
There you go.
There's also one called Meth Gator by the same guys, but I didn't get that one, unfortunately. I'm trying to find it now, but I haven't had any luck. I probably could afford it anyway because it could be like 30 or 40 bucks. But Raccoon, real thing.
As I was watching those videos, I suddenly had a new feeling of empathy for our friend ex-Bubba Hotep because he used to work at a hotel.
Oh, God.
And apparently he had to have the police there quite often.
Dude, you get especially near a major city or a major highway, you see the weirdest fucking people if you work any kind of service industry.
There was a great one where this lady, she was waiting for paperwork from her dentist. Apparently she just, I don't care. But she wouldn't leave and they told her it wouldn't be ready. And they were purposefully slow walking it because she'd been a cunt to them. So they were like, yeah, it'll be ready tomorrow. But eventually this breaks down like it always does because the bitch wouldn't shut her mouth. She wasn't even drunk, Jack.
Oh, yeah. Some people just have no self-control.
Yeah, she had that entitled, you can't tell me what to do. And this guy, they finally, get her down and stuff and get her in the car. And he goes back to talk to the people at the dentist office. And the one lady says to him, wow, I've never seen anything like that. It's probably something you see every day. And he says this, actually, I've only encountered that one other time. And it was also a woman. To which the other cop, who was a female, she goes, it's always the women. Even the women know it's always the women. You really don't see that as much from the guys.
Well, much like if you're going to get shot by a cop, it's probably going to be a woman cop that tries to shoot you. Let's be honest. Because they're going to be intimidated by size. They'd be a little more inclined to reach for that wrong weapon. But it does, watching videos like that does give you a lot more empathy for what cops have to deal with on a regular basis. Or ambulance crews.
Some of those cops are fucking saints, man. For all cops are bastards, you guys are assholes. You should see what those guys deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, there are bad cops out there, but dear God, the ones that are good, you guys put up with a lot of shit. And I wouldn't deal with it. I threw a clip in the last link there if you want to watch it.
There was another one where there was this flamboyantly gay guy whose mom, sister is dying, depends on which story he's telling to try to get out of it at the time. And so they finally arrest him because he won't leave the airport. And they've already told him he's not getting on the plane because he's drunk.
Of course.
And he's talking just mad shit the whole way. Until they get him outside and he sees the police car and he turns into this blubbering little bitch.
I can't go to jail.
I That's why I don't drink much, Jack, because it turns people into just the worst of people.
Airports should be completely dry, no booze
Yeah.
at all. I've seen so many problems on all those airport reality shows and episodes of Cops and Body Cam, and god damn, no booze in the air, man. It's a bad plan.
All right, let's see.
This is quite possibly the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. You are reporting that someone stole the drugs that you were trying to sell them.
Sir, I'm broke.
This is real footage, by the way. It's from, I think, On Patrol.
You're broke, so you think the answer to that is catching a charge.
Yeah. Watch our friend who's filming this, by the way.
Just trying to make a little bit.
At what point does this make any sense?
That poor cop. See, this is what we're talking about with what the cops go through. No, let me explain why it makes sense.
I will never forget. It was like one of the earliest seasons of Cops. You can still find the clip. I think it was in Texas. This cop got flagged down by this woman, and she's like, "That woman ripped me off $20." And she points to this house. He's like, "What? And she stole my $20. Well, how'd she do that? Well, she was supposed to give me something. I gave her $20. She doesn't matter. She stole my $20. And then eventually she admits that she was trying to buy crack, and the lady gave her like pieces of drywall.
Yep.
Yeah, and he went over to the house and knocked. He's like, "Did you take this woman's money?" And she's like, "I don't know what she's talking about," which is the correct answer. And of course, he's like, "You flagged me down to tell me somebody ripped you off for the drug buy? You know I'm the cops, right? You're aware of that." That's what this reminded me of.
Yeah, drug addicts are stupid, man.
Yeah.
At what point?
It doesn't make it.
At what point do you think telling the cops that someone stole?
I'm being honest. He's not being honest. Where's what he?
Are there drugs in this car?
No, there isn't.
There no drugs in my car.
There isn't. There isn't.
That lady laughing cracks me up.
Me too. That is fucking awesome. That the look on that poor cop's face, like, you gotta be fucking with me.
Yeah, again, he's like, "This is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard." And you know what they deal with on a regular basis, so
That's the face I want. Like, for fuck's sake.
yeah.
No, if you guys don't watch these, you really are missing out. Again, a lot of them are like just your regular drunk who won't shut up, so they end up getting taken out. And almost every one of them gets the resisting without violence charge on them. Which, you know what, though? I realize this about it, Jack. We have a problem with law and order in this country because most of these people, the one that I was watching, they tell you what happens afterwards, like what their sentence ended up being and stuff, if they can. And most of them had it. I think maybe 2 or 3 of them didn't. And I seriously, I watched hours and hours and hours and hours of this stuff. Not one of these people served extra jail time besides time served, which was usually like 2 or 3 days at max. I think one of them got 60 days and they'd already served 48 by the time they went in. But that one was an actual really violent felony. But everybody else got like, you got to go to drunk class and maybe a fine. Like, is that enough to stop them from doing it again, from acting an ass again?
No, because they didn't learn anything. There's no real consequence.
I don't think they should go to jail for like life or anything, but 30 days for hitting a cop seems all right to me. At minimum. But no, every one of them is getting off with just nothing because cops are having to deal with dumb drunks. And I had another thought. Maybe the women of the 20s were almost right, Jack. There should have been prohibition, but only for women.
I could agree with that. I found that clip I was just talking about. It's called Rock Refund. I'm dropping the link now. There you go, guys. Prohibition for women. That would actually not be a bad idea.
Called the cops last week because there was a couple having sex in the second exterior stairwell. Jesus Christ.
That's gross. If you're gonna have public sex, do it at like a football field or something, not a stairwell. Hepatitis lives.
Do you remember? I think it was a Florida couple that was it was a Florida homeless couple that was banging right out in front of everybody. We talked about it on Lords of the Night years and years and years ago.
I vaguely remember that.
And I'm kind of on their side. It's not like they had a room to go to. They homeless.
Yeah, I mean,
But
if you're homeless, it's one thing, but
go under a bridge like a normal person.
Yeah, that's what overpasses are for, apparently.
Yeah, you know,
and maybe you'll make friends down there, with Charlie and Frank.
Yeah, these good one. Oh my God! Now I'm picturing that episode when they go to the Jersey Shore.
the homeless guys are fucking each other.
Oh God, it's so horrible.
That was way too realistic.
Yeah, Charlie's reaction would have been mine. No. I don't want to see anything else like that. No, this couple, they were just out in the middle of the day next to a busy road humping. Like, I mean, sometimes you just gotta hump.
Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't.
This one that I saw, the reason the cop stopped these people, they weren't driving, but again, it was in Florida. A lot of these are Florida. Florida is one of those states where if you can reach your keys and you're in your car, you're considered driving. And these people pulled over to knock some boots. And that's what the cop noticed because they're in an empty fucking parking lot. And he sees the car rocking. He like, wonder what they're up to. And she was the driver. They let the guy go. They were both drunk. And she's like, why? But the whole time they're showing her, she's really pretty, Jack. But then they show her mugshot and like her makeup had worn off.
Oh.
That guy deserves a refund.
That's some deceptive advertising.
He fucked an ugly chick and he don't even know it. She had just met him that night, and this dude is so nice that he gave her his number so he could bail her out.
Wow.
I'm like, bro,
that's way nicer.
You have the perfect get out of jail free card here. She's going away. She don't even know your full name.
Yeah, you can break that off in a second.
You already tapped it. Do you really want to look for long-term relationship with the chick who picked you up at the bar and fucked you in her car that night?
I mean, that does not seem like the grounds for relationship material,
Gentlemen, make better choices in your life.
Ladies, make better choices in your life too. If you're fucking randos in your car, you've made mistakes. Mistakes were made.
Oh, I just don't understand people like this. Anyway, this is donation come through 1 second. Thank you, Kanye West. Oh, I'm afraid to read this one. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially those awesome people. Hitler and my favorite Jew named Monkey. Together, we shall achieve the second coming of the third ranting. Well, thank you.
The third ranting.
What do you think about that stupid Kanye song?
I don't care. He's trying so hard to get attention. It just came off as like some edgy high schooler, like, oh, I'm so deep and hardcore, ha ha ha. And it's like lazy edgelord shit.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking. I mean, there's a lot of people. I saw somebody did a cover of it. You're awesome. It just so
hardcore.
It looks like desperation. Please pay attention to me, because everybody stopped paying attention to his dumbass. I guess. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I don't. So much stuff these days is just like cringy edgelord shit. Is that me? Am I back? Hello. Hello. I'm sure ornery. Shannon ornery. I don't know if that's me or him. No, Monk. Okay. Gotcha, guys. Just checking. Usually, it's a roll of the dice these days. Squirrel. Yeah, squirrel chewing on my internet line, probably. We don't hear Monk. Yeah, he must have dipped out. Every now and then, I figured it out with mine is Chrome has this weird thing where if one tab has too much memory usage, it starts messing up the stream on my end. So I have to refresh the stream every now and then. It's really annoying. Lonely Jack, Mr. Jack just needs a small Asian lass to get in shape. Yeah, I agree. I do need to take better care of myself. I'm getting fatter. Hi, Devil Fruit. How you doing? So what's going on over at Chatland? You guys having a good day? Jack's got an old computer. I do. I'm lucky I got this replacement one thanks to Donald Camp and his lovely wife. But it's not capable of the very high processing power because I couldn't dump a bunch of money. But I'm hoping that once the estate gets settled, I'll be able to get something much higher end. Playing with Linux. Oh, that sounds horrible. But you work with what you got, and that's all you can do. And I'm appreciative for everything I do have. Hey, Donald. Yeah, he dipped out again. I don't know what's going on. Downsy computer? No, it's your current processor. I have a gray computer. It's gray. Everything else is faded off. I don't know. It's like a Pentium quad core, something like that. I could probably try and look it up, but it might freeze me on the stream. Cleaning out my garage the other day and found the greatest gift I could ever hope for. A box of old Marvel and DC comics from the 90s. Nice. Yeah, 80s and 90s were set like mid 70s to the mid 90s. That's my range. You're alive? That's good. Nice gray or sad gray? It's a little of both. It's got that Jack uses me 20 hours a day feel, So I listen to a lot of podcasts, or I can't sleep if there isn't some sort of ambient noise. So I put on boring podcasts and fall asleep to them a lot. Yeah, I know the feeling, Charles. You should probably do that after a while. Yeah, no, I tend to be on the computer quite a bit, and I find it best to make the most out of my time. So maximize what you're doing. I work on editing stuff a lot while we're on here, actually, and then I will do editing while I'm listening to a podcast or anything around the house. I'll put a podcast on. Lots of documentaries go on in my house. Yeah, YouTube videos that's about all I watch anymore. I don't even own a TV. I will again soon, but it'll mostly end up being like an extra monitor. Watched the guy tear a copy of Fantastic Four #1 in half as a joke. Oh my! Wow, that guy hates money. My TV is a monitor. Yeah, I use the TV when I'm over at the folks' house cleaning out their stuff. I use their TV as a YouTube streamer. They have cable over there, but I was like, I don't want to pay for this. It's not worth watching on there anymore. Free documentary released new video. Oh yeah, I've subscribed to them. I watch a lot of history stuff. Picked up the storyline from X-Men where Wolverine got the metal ripped out of him. I kind of don't like what they did there by making him like that weird, dumb animal. That one's a mixed bag for me because some writers did a pretty good job and others were garbage. So I'll have to reread it because considering a lot of the stuff that's out there now, I'd probably like it better. But I remember at the time, it just wasn't really for me. It was too inconsistent. TV companies must be losing so much money. Yeah, probably. Most of the shows are garbage. I don't watch TV anymore. Yeah, I do mostly streaming stuff, mostly YouTube and Rumble. Sometimes I get on Odyssey, and I do watch Kino Casino occasionally on Kick. So the new Ironheart show comes. I'm not watching that shit. That looks ridiculous. That's true. Just another guy. There's a lot of garbage out there. And I have a very extensive movie collection of really fine, low-budget films, so I watch those a lot. Not much anymore. I'm trying to get back into it. Oh, I saw that, Comrade Kitty. It was stupid. That show, The Last of Us, that with
Hi.
Habsburg McSquish Face. Hey, what's up, buddy?
I actually had to switch to the AT&T. I haven't had to do that in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Somebody hit a telephone pole?
What's that?
Somebody hit a telephone pole and scare some birds into landing on your satellite?
I have no idea what happened there. I think it's just my internet being like, fuck you, Frank. You haven't done a show in a while, so apparently you don't want to do them. I hate my internet, Jack. Anyway, what'd I miss?
Not much. I was just chatting with the guys on our men and ladies in chat. Thoughts on Paul being cucked by Venom? The new Venom stuff kind of sucks. Mary Jane is the new Venom, by the way.
What?
Yeah. Remember how she was all afraid of the Venom suit back when he first got it? And was like, I never want that thing near me again because it scared her so much. Yeah, she's Venom now.
And Eddie kidnapped her and all right. Adibisi, thank you. Did you hear about the Pelosi Act? No. What's the Pelosi Act?
Isn't that the one where they're saying no more stock trading for Congress people?
Oh, maybe. If they actually named it after her, that's fucking funny.
Right?
Not that she'll feel any shame from it. I mean, she's been doing this forever and getting away with it.
Why? A lot of Congress people have.
Sure.
I don't think it'll pass because, let's face it, they're voting on it. I can hear Crenshaw making excuses now.
I mean, this is some stuff that should have been outlawed years and years and years ago. People have been talking about it for, God, at least a decade, Jack. And ain't nobody done shit about it because Congress, so many of them do this. I know. We're just really good at picking stocks. By the way, we don't tell anybody about what we're going to buy because that would be insider trading.
Yeah, it's amazing how her husband has such a great track record for investments.
Yeah, he's like a fucking genius, man. He should have went into stockbrokering.
Yeah, instead of banging homeless dudes.
Now we don't know that they banged. Could have been hand jobs under a bridge.
There was some banging going on with that hammer.
Yeah. That guy just kind of went out of the media until they were like, wait, we can use him if you ever say anything bad. If we ever say anything bad about somebody's family, we can point to you guys laughing at Paul. Remember when they tried doing that? Whose family was it they were attacking? Was it Oh, it was when Trump got shot at. They were like, but you guys left when Paul got hit with a hammer. I mean, it is kind of funny. A naked dude breaks in with a hammer. I mean, that doesn't happen every day. Oh my goodness. Jack, what else should we talk about tonight? I'm sure there's stuff that happened.
Oh, happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Oh yeah, happy Mother's Day.
Somebody asked,
we're asked, didn't Obama come into the White House damn near broke? No, he wasn't near broke, but he did make a lot of money, especially after he left the White House. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, it's called the Preventing Elected Leaders from Owning Securities and Investments Act, acronym for Pelosi.
Nice.
Thank you for that, Dangerous. But somebody asked in chat if you saw what Letitia James is being charged with.
Was she actually charged?
I believe so.
I'm shocked, honestly. Jack, I need to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Cannibal, I understand that pain. Chromebooks are a pain in the ass. It's nice that they're thin and they're handy and they're great for doing stuff, but when they fuck up, it drives me nuts. My dad had one for a while, and every now and then he'd be like, how do I fix this? It's like, I don't know. Never mind, 10 name. Yeah, right? Did we talk about India and Pakistan? Kind of briefly, not really. Sorry to hear that, Eagle. Yeah, I really like the Superman comics from you said you're going 86 to 2011. That's the sweet spot right there. That's some of the best Superman books. I usually draw the cutoff right before New 52. A little while before that, actually.
All right, sorry about that. Anyway.
Oh, no worries.
So, is this in the house, I'm assuming?
I have no idea. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, do I really think that anything's going to come of it? Probably not, because Congress has too much of a vested interest, each one of them, to keep it the way it is.
Yeah, they like making money.
They got rid of the golden parachute back in, the 90s? For those who don't know, back in the day, you could raise as much money as you want. You could only spend certain amounts of, through the campaign. There's only so much money you can spend. And then when you retired, you got to keep all of the money in your campaign account, like millions and millions of dollars. When they got rid of that, because like they realized, be an easy way to buy off a politician.
Yeah.
And so Congress, that's when you really see the uptick in Congress deciding, hey, maybe we'll just play the stock market with all of our insider trading knowledge.
Well, to be fair, they were probably doing that too, and they're just doing more of it now.
Maybe. I don't think we've ever seen anybody as prolific as Nancy has been with it. Well, specifically her husband. I don't think. Every so often you'll say, oh, this Republican did it too. Like, yeah, I'm sure most of them are doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really wanted my Starlink to work so we could watch a video, but now we can't even watch video, Jack, because we're on the AT&T.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Fix your shit, Elon.
The the folks over there at Real Time, it bothers me that Bill Maher is so close to being a normal person again. And
scary.
It really is. But his monologue, well, I guess it looks like it's part of his new rules section. He's talking about the people who went to Bernie Sanders and AOC. Did you see Bernie Sanders explain why he's on private jets?
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
See, guys, he has to travel around on private jets to tell everybody about oligarchies because otherwise it would just take too long standing in line.
Yeah, I'd have to wait in line. Well, I can't do that.
Have to wait in line like one of those
Not much.
plebeians.
Yeah,
But at one of his rallies recently, Jack, some, let's call them stupid commie shithead young people,
young people, gotcha.
covered an American flag with a Palestinian one. Yeah. You know, because of those freedom fighters over there in Palestine and all of the freedom that they bring. They're just fighting to be free, you know, even though they've basically been free for 20 goddamn years and all they did was kill Jews. They didn't better themselves, Jack. They didn't do anything positive. Every so often they'd start shit with the Jews. And that now that the Jews are like, we're done fucking with you because you killed 1,200 of us. You have stupid ass Americans. We had the University of Washington the other day, where dumbass kids in America go and take over a building to free Palestine.
I think they should all be dragged out of there and shipped over to fight.
Yeah, let them go help rebuild.
Yeah, go ahead. Go over there with your Queers for Palestine flags. Find out what happens. They don't have any tall buildings left. So it'll be a new creative way. Don't worry.
I'm so tired of dumbass Americans, man. I really am. And it's mostly these young people, and they know that they can do this to young people because young people are stupid.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The response has been so disproportionate. I love Americans talking about disproportionate response. We dropped 2 nukes on Japan because they killed 1,000 of us.
They started it.
They did. And we fucking ended it. You can't appease.
No, that's how war is waged. You have to obliterate your enemy into submission. Put the fear of God into them.
Yeah.
And for you atheists, the fear of greater things coming.
The great ending. How about that?
Yeah. they have to be afraid that you're going to obliterate them completely. Or you haven't won the conflict.
Bill Maher says, he goes, when that flag was unfurled, everybody cheers. And he goes, that's the moment when the adults in the room should have stood up and gone, no, actual liberty is from this flag. And he shows a picture of the American flag, not this one. And then he shows the Palestinian one. And that's great and all. It really is. The problem is, on the stage at that moment was AOC and Bernie Sanders. The adults in the room support that stupid shit. Because they're just as dumb as the kids in that room.
Adults. Oh yeah, they're ideologues. They're true believers.
One is a senator. The other one is a representative that they're trying really, 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 really hard to make the presidential candidate in 2028.
I'm telling you, the country's done if she gets elected. We are so fucked.
Did you see she's polling better than Schumer?
I'm not surprised. I think she's going to take over.
That is their play. And if she does get elected, I'm going to have some very choice words for Kyle Kalinske and Cenk Uygur. Because those two fucking retards are the reason we have AOC.
Understandable.
Those two fucking retards gave us the Justice Democrats. They pushed that shit, and they gave us AOC. And I'm so tired of the commie nonsense, Jack. I'm tired of the appeasement of people who are cheering on terrorists. You can think what's going on in Israel sucks and that it's bad the way they're... You know what? I hear you. But fuck those terrorists. Fuck them.
I have a real problem with people that would support the mass slaughter of innocent people at a concert. It's a bit egregious, guys. It's a little bit egregious. Also, the fact that they support these people and they do not understand what they're supporting is a little insane to me.
Well, they get their information from people like Hassan. Did you see Hassan and Ethan's argument?
I tapped out early on that one.
There's one point where Hassan makes the argument that on October 7th, 12,000 or 1,200 civilians weren't killed. It was only actually 900 because the other 300 were soldiers. Like, so 900 was okay to kill?
Apparently. Hassan doesn't like Jews.
No, he doesn't. No. He's totally not anti-Semitic. He just doesn't like Israel. Or the chosen people.
Yeah, or the Iraqi Jews, or the ones in Europe, or any of them really, because they're all part of the same Zionist outfit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Idiot.
But that's where these people are getting their. This is why occasionally we do tune in and see what Hassan is saying, or see what somebody like Kyle Kalinske is saying. Although we haven't checked on that retard in a while.
Because he's annoying.
This is what the kids are hearing. This is what they're repeating. It's the stupid shit they hear over there. Although I am enjoying right now, there's a fight going on in the right. And Timmy Pool decided to dip his toes into it. He's he is this Hassan Piker of the right. He really is. He will say whatever he thinks the audience wants to hear. And that can change. The man has no principles at all. And I saw somebody said that they realized he's not a smart man. I was like, just now? You didn't get that when Civil War II didn't take off? Oh, man.
What?
I know, right? It's shocking. Absolutely shocking that to find out Tim Pool's a retard.
He's not a retard. He's a centrist monkey. Just ask him.
He's very upset about this term woke right. And he doesn't like it because Candace Owens isn't a white identitarian. Like, sure, why not?
What?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Whatever. Just nod along and be like, okay, Tim. Okay, go play now. Color a picture.
But see, he's another one. I mean, the reason I pay any attention to him is because that's where a lot of people get their news from. They listen to what that goddamn idiot says.
Wow.
And I got to be honest with you, man. I don't understand why.
It's the beanie.
Woke right is what it fucking is. It is. And it's we've seen this. This goes all the way back to pre-January 6th, Jack, when you have all of the riots breaking out in 2020, and you had a whole bunch of people on the right going, how come we can't do that? We should be doing what they're doing. And we've told you all along, you need principles not to imitate the actions of shitty people, Robespierre.
Yeah, that's how you end up with the second revolution. The first one they did in France was so bloody, they had to have a second one to stop it.
Yeah, you guys stopped reading halfway through that story. You know what happened to Robespierre at the end? They cut off his head.
I don't know, man. People are very selective about what they want to say in history because it benefits what their argument is.
Yeah.
But that other little part there about, that didn't really work out so well, they tend to forget.
I wish I could be disappointed in these people, but I'm not, because it's amazing how many people don't have principles. They will preach principles all day long. But when it comes time to actually show they have them, they have none.
Yeah.
They have pettiness. They have jealousy. They have envy. They have leftist actions.
And unfortunately, it's because there's money to be made, and
Sure.
they're just grifters, and that's all they care about.
Speaking of which, oh my God, I gotta laugh at Jeremy for a few minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
He was bragging today about how much money he had on Twitter.
The guy that was just begging for money.
Yes. So he puts up this picture of some land that he cleared. He's gonna make himself a RC car track on his property.
Wait, wasn't it like 2 days ago we were 4 days ago we were talking about him e-begging on his streams?
Yeah. But
Saying how he's like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. Now he wants to put an RC track in his house or his yard, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think you're that broke.
Well, somebody asked him about that, and that's when he starts doing his bragging. And he says that this was his, I can't remember if it was his best month, but he said he made 400,000 in sales off of his coffee.
That's not profit, that's sales.
It's not, no. So I went over, for those of you who haven't been following the Jeremy saga, because we really haven't talked about it after his $80,000 K-Cup machine.
On his credit card, yeah.
When we watched that video, he told us that Mother's Day is his biggest sales day of the year. It's what sets him up for the rest of the year, so he's profitable. Well, he shipped 5,000 units of his Mother's Day box to Amazon so that it was in their warehouse and he didn't have to do any of the other shipping on it. If somebody ordered it, it could be part of Amazon Prime. And that ended up costing him twice as much as he thought. So he's selling these boxes for $99. And depending on which time you listen to him, his total cost for the box could get up to $94, Jack. They were selling so poorly that he gave a $10 sale, so $89. And when he did this, he tells us that as long as he sells enough to make $300,000, he'll be fine. But that was at cost. He's lowered it since then to $79. So he's now, by any estimation he's given, losing money on every single sale.
Wow. He's not good at this.
And he still only moved 2,000 of them. Whoopsie. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Mother's Day now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. The whole thing, I would feel kind of scammed if he starts bragging about spending money literally the day before Mother's Day when he's like, I gotta get these sales or or we're going under. I believe that's what he said, wasn't it? Like,
yes,
we're going out of business.
Yep. He said he couldn't keep it in business without $300,000 worth of sale, which I am not great at math, but if I'm correct, 2,000 times 80 is only $160,000.
Yeah, so either he's lying or he's shit at math. Maybe both.
I honestly don't know. And I think part of it is him trying to be braggadocious now because my audience came through for me. Not from what you told us. They failed you by quite a large margin. My problem with him, and when it comes to his stupid ass coffee and all of this, is he wants to try to separate it from being a YouTuber, but if he wasn't a YouTuber, nobody would buy his shitty coffee.
Yeah.
You can't have it both ways. And he's bad at business, and 15 people or 12 people, depending on, again, which video you watch, work for him, and you have 12 to 15 people who are relying on that retard to keep things running.
Yeah, he's already laid off staff because his quarter cast is pretty much done. From what Sticks Hexenhammer was saying, because he stopped paying people. He was bitching about how broke he is, and now he's like, "Oh, I'm going to put an RC track in my yard."
Yep.
What?
And then when somebody pointed it out, instead of just going, hey, this isn't actually going to cost me very much money, because from the sound, I mean, he's going to put in steps for some reason. I have no idea why. It's flat land, Jack.
Well, he probably wants to be elevated so you can see the whole track.
Get a step stool. They're like $20.
No, you got to build a little platform so you can have your press guy there too, or an announcer.
But instead of just going, hey, this isn't actually going to cost that much money, it's coming out of my personal account, not my business account. No, he's got to go on the other. I'm just so rich. I made all the monies.
By all accounts, he's supposed to be like crying poverty.
Yeah, he's cried poverty every day for the last 2 weeks over on his Rumble show.
Oh, yeah, at least.
I watched 3 different videos of him doing it, which was funny.
Yeah, it's embarrassing after a while. I felt secondhand embarrassment for him. Like, dude, just stop.
Well, when he's talking about it one time, he said that a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, they sold 2,000 Mother's Day gift boxes. So he thought, I'll send 5,000 of them to Amazon. Like, huh?
In a saturated market with an overpriced bundle. Come on, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Not selling coffee.
Apparently. Oh, real quick. Thank you, Evolved Potato. My problem with people that use the term woke right is usually they group people that want to use the left tactics and people that want to combat the left's tactics. But because they both want to analyze them and change tactics, they must be the same. There is that problem, but most people I see that are labeled woke right are the ones that want to use the left tactics, and they're whining about a lot of the same things, hate speech and you hurt my fifis, that sort of thing.
The ones that I think that fits with are your identitarian ones. Your ones who want to shut down other people's speech, like you shouldn't be allowed to talk, and they're not, actually being violent. They're just saying things you don't want to hear. And there's more and more of that shit. The ones who are just trying to use the left's tactics, I don't think that makes them woke right. I think it makes them retarded.
Yeah, it's a bad plan. It's there's good tactics and bad tactics, and you saw what they're doing, and optically you hate it. Why would it make it a good tactic for you?
Yeah.
If you hate it, well, why are you doing that?
I do think a lot of people who've been using the term woke right don't understand why they're using it. It's kind of the Trump DeSantis thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I just don't like your side, so you're woke right. No, you're the woke right because I don't like your side.
A lot of times they're both woke right.
Often, yeah. You can't go into politics, though, whether you're talking punditry or actual, elected office, and not expect hypocrisy, because it's the name of the game.
Yeah, you're gonna get it.
It really is. And that's why I always preach principles, Jack. That's how you keep from being a hypocrite, is having principles, and sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, we're gonna call that hambling instead of hypocritical. It's Hambla-critical.
There needs to be a way to work Tim Pool in there too. I get it. I do get it. If your team is constantly getting cheated, it can be very easy to just like, we should cheat too.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking
because it's the easy way.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about like necessarily politics. I mean, any kind of team. If the other team is getting away with shit, and you're like, we should do that. They're getting away with it. All right, but aren't you mad that they're doing it?
Yeah. And
the question, it comes down to, are you mad that they're doing it, or are you just mad that you can't? Because those are two entirely different things.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think unfortunately what happens is if you start to use their tactics, you get caught and they crucify you.
Yeah.
We saw that with January 6th.
Yep.
And that wasn't even a real riot. That was a half-hearted Fed op.
Shit, we saw it with Charlottesville. I mean,
yeah,
that same protest had been going on for years and years and years, and happened after it, because it was all about this statue that was down there.
Mhm.
Some people wanted to tear it down, other people didn't. And once every 6 to 8 months, they would all get together and yell at each other for a little bit and then go home, and nothing happened. You have the Unite the Right rally, where a whole bunch more people were going to go there to yell at the other people. And then the lefties who like violence showed up. That's where it started. That's where the violence came from. Every time you see that there's violence, it's always when the left shows up and starts hitting. And then they get hit back and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you hit me.
How dare you attack me? I'm disabled.
But if you watch the news, it was just those violent Do you remember the old man who, in the middle of one of those, I forget, I think it was in Seattle, could be wrong on that, but there's the two sides, they're separated by a street, and the old man, he just needs to pee. So he crosses the street to go in a building, and he happens to be crossing over to the Antifa side, and they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
But that wasn't reported on nightly news for a week. Little old Jewish man got the shit beat out of him because he needed to pee. And every time this shit happened, who got blamed? It was never the left that was blamed. Remember that teacher, that college professor who hit somebody in the head with a fucking bike lock?
Yep.
He didn't become a national name. His little hippie group wasn't plastered everywhere as a domestic terrorist group like the Proud Boys or any of those other guys.
Yeah, as I recall, he got like a little slap on the hand for that too.
Yes, he did. He could have killed somebody with that thing.
Oh yeah, it's assault with a deadly weapon. You could easily brain someone with it. And he hit the dude in the head.
Yep.
It wasn't the first person he threw one of those at either.
I know it sucks, people on the right. I like to hit people, but you can't just do it. Remember Moldy Locks? Oh yeah. Tons of violence on their side. Never represented that way on the news.
Nope. Goldilocks is a good example. She had 2 wine bottles that was hitting people with them, and some dude clocks her, and he's the one that's the bad guy.
There was that when we were watching the Portland stuff. Remember the chick who a couple of people broke into the fence and started a fire behind the fence that they'd erected?
Yep.
The news reported that as the police were being mean to her, she wasn't even in there. And they violently pulled her out. Except that's not what happened. It was
not
all on
even close.
Yeah, I got in an argument with somebody on Twitter over that, and they brought up some fucking news article. I'm like, wait. Here, watch the video. And then they didn't want to talk anymore, Jack.
Oh, of course not. Because how dare you? How dare you disrupt their narrative? They have a story. That's the truth now. They've crafted it. It's accepted.
This is why I hate the press so much, because this person, they got that information from the press.
Mm-hmm.
They were lied to.
Oh, absolutely. But they're never going to be mad at the press.
I saw that comedian I was just telling you about, and I am not promoting her on here, Jack, because of her anti-Israel stuff.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But she was talking about how because she used to be just a feminist, a little fat feminist. You know what changed her mind? Finding out the truth of what happened with Trayvon Martin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because she was a little dyed-in-the-wool, yelled at anybody who disagreed with her at all. It was just all racist bullshit. And somebody told her, no, you need to look into that more. So she did. And it's amazing how many times that's the story. Somebody said, you need to look into that more. So they do. And they're like, wait, huh?
Well, unfortunately, most communists and hippies are incredibly lazy people. So they're not going to look into it more.
No.
They're not going to do any real digging. And that picture of Trayvon Martin that they used forever was him as like a 12-year-old. And he's like 5'2" instead of the 6-foot tall monster that he was. Same with Michael Brown. They did the same thing there.
With Trayvon, it was not widely reported that he was shot while basically riding George cowgirl style.
Yeah. What do they call it? Grounded pound?
Yeah. He was on top of George, banging his head into the ground when George shot him.
Yeah.
They're like, he shouldn't have stayed in the car.
He
Or
was
he
just
should've
eating his Skittles and drinking his Arizona iced tea. He's just like, "Hi, mister."
Wait.
Then he got shot.
The Skittles were for his little brother.
Oh yeah.
Remember, he was being a good big brother.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The reason George Zimmerman didn't go to prison is because he was defending himself. And yes, George should have stayed in his car, but he wasn't required to. He did nothing wrong doing that.
He is just being overzealous and stupid.
Yeah, he was being dumb. He put himself in a bad situation, but that's not illegal. Trayvon Martin beating the shit out of him and banging his head into the ground, absolutely illegal.
I know. I was surprised to learn that too.
Yeah, I know. But it's amazing how many times that you see somebody when has come from the left to the right, and you're like, well, what changed that for you? And they're like, well, I did some research. And now you know why they don't want you doing your own research.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you have a laboratory? No.
Oh,
you know why I am able to comment on cows and how delicious they are? I have a yard.
I am so sorry, Dangerous. I missed this a while ago. I cannot believe the shit this dumbass fucking woman said to me. People are so fucking stupid. Starts a new incident report. I was driving down the road at 9:30 when two women flagged me down.
Oh, man. Police reports must be some of the great works of fiction.
Oh.
How do you massage that? Like, this chick wanted me as upset that she got ripped off for her drugs. You can't just say that. You got to dress that shit up. You got to be like, I was flagged down at 11:59 p.m. and I approached the subject, and she reported to me that there had been a theft occurred at 1 hour ago. So I proceeded to interrogate her as to what happened. And she informed me that that some of her methamphetamines had been liberated from her possession. Like, you gotta dress it up with fancy talk. You can't just be like, "Yeah, this stupid bitch flagged me down to tell me that her drugs were stolen."
And Dangerous, I'm sorry about that. That was all happening when my internet was being a douche to me. It's still being a douche. Starlink still won't connect. I'm trying it on my phone while I'm sitting here, and it's pissing me off. Oh, but yeah, Dangerous points out that Michael Brown, they kept showing him in his graduation outfit. Not him. We had him on camera, strong arm robbing the little Korean guy. They didn't use that picture when they'd show him on the news.
No, because he looks like a monster. The dude's huge.
Yeah.
And who charges a cop holding a gun? Like, are you trying to get shot? Do you think you could dodge that? What are you doing, dude? Like, your odds are pretty slim. I mean, even though the cop was injured, still bad plan. This is a terrible idea.
Hands up, don't shoot. Yep, and that was the lie that they told. And you know what, Jack? I'm watching what's going on right now, and I'm trying to figure out what our riot season is what's gonna kick it off.
Oh, I don't know. We already saw the Columbia University have the library seized, and Boston University had something similar, but they just broke up that autonomous zone at Columbia, and they're still fighting with them over that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think it'll be the India-Pakistan thing, because it's too hard to pick sides on that one.
Yeah, Americans don't know enough about India and Pakistan.
Yeah, I mean, that's a different kind of blood feud than the Jews versus the Arabs. And they're both ethnically basically the same in India and Pakistan, although they don't like to admit that. That's mostly Muslims versus Hindus.
Yeah.
So that's too many progressive points on each side. So although the Pakistanis are doing nothing about the terror groups, which is why this whole thing started in the beginning.
Yep.
So they're not going to want to play that game. I think it's going to be if China jumps in on that mess, or you're going to end up with something Trump did where somebody goes to jail and they're going to cry racism and victimization. So there's a million things that could set that powder keg off.
I think it's going to be illegal immigration.
Yeah. I mean, what likely is going to happen is somebody's going to try and fight with ICE and get shot, and they're going to martyr them, no matter what kind of gang member they are or terroristic piece of shit. If they martyr one of those illegals, that might be the catalyst for it. Yeah, I can see that.
The only thing that I think might not I think they have to find. It's going to sound so horrible. They have to find a black victim.
Yeah, give them time.
Because you're not going to have the turnout like you had for Black Lives Matter for illegals.
No, but if you get like a Somali victim,
maybe
gets shot by ICE, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're so easily offended by everything. It doesn't take much. Real quick though, thank you, Evolved Potato. This reminds me of how the fascists in Italy came to power. They were excoriated in the press for their violence against commies, and then they just shot back with, I don't care. We need to be very careful because these times it's when really evil people get power. That's why we always say temper your enthusiasm for joining these things. You never know who's pulling the strings.
Yeah, I think you need the black people to care. And I just don't think they'll get that with illegals. I think it's for the narrative, for the way that they push this shit. It's got to be, and I hope it doesn't happen, but yeah, it's got to be a black person.
I mean, the way racial tensions are now, it could easily pop off. So, I mean, you get a riot going somewhere over something stupid, some minor thing. I'm kind of surprised it wasn't Carmelo Anthony actually getting arrested. So, but I guess
I'm not, because
it wasn't warm enough.
See, we didn't have that with OJ either, and you know, you had lots of racial tension at the time there too. And maybe if he got found guilty, so maybe if Carmelo gets found guilty, maybe.
I think it's going to take something a little more though. So there's going to have to be a body.
Yeah.
But I think that a racial incident would be enough to kind of push it over the top because people are all fired up and angry all the time now. And you got social media more than willing with the legacy media. We're bouncing hand in hand, trying to get everybody to kill each other.
The legacy media desperately wants this to happen. And yes, I do mean wants this to happen. The legacy media would like nothing more than the ability to be, look what they did to the... Did you see the black cops that beat the shit out of that guy got off?
I couldn't believe that. They were as guilty as sin. Did they intimidate the jurors? What the hell?
All right. For those of you who don't know the story we're talking about, I forget where this was. It's like Atlanta, I think.
Atlanta or Memphis. I don't remember which.
I'm almost positive it was Atlanta. So this black motorist gets pulled over and takes off running. And the police chase him down, and 5 black cops beat this little boy like he stole from them. They beat the fuck out of him, Jack. Yeah. And we're laughing about it.
Oh, yeah. They were very proud of it.
Memphis is what we're being told. Real quick. Thank you, Dangerous. Even when the truth comes out, the press often still try to spin things. Yeah, real quick, an aside before I read the rest of that. Joe Scarborough is now talking about how smart AOC is.
Yeah, of course he is.
How's the guy doing? Told us how cogent Biden was, is now telling us how smart AOC is. Yeah, they'll just lie. Anyway, Savannah Guthrie said to Nick Sandman, there was something aggressive about standing there. You fucking what, lady? Yeah, I mean, they just lie.
Yeah, yeah, he smirked aggressively.
Michael, thank you. I think there may be a riot if Carmelo is found innocent as well. The amount of race baiting in this case tells me there's no good outcome. There won't be rioting if he's found guilty or found not guilty because generally speaking, the right doesn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying to gin up both sides so that there'll be a big conflict. Hypnagogic made a good point. It could just be something that happens on a campus because remember Kent State.
The problem with that, and I hear you, Monk, but the problem with that is that college is just about out. Most colleges are shutting down for the summer. Yeah. So that shit's got to move to the street somewhere. Anyway, so these cops beat the shit out of them. 2 of the police officers, because they face both federal and state charges, 2 of them cop deals. And they're pretty much the only ones going to prison, Jack.
Yep.
Because the other 3 were found on the federal charges. The only thing that they were found guilty of was basically inappropriate behavior. I forget the exact terminology they use for it. And then on the state charges, they were found not guilty of everything.
I was shocked by that, considering it's all on video.
Yeah.
And it was total excessive force.
But it's funny if you go read the stories about it. None of them say 3 black cops acquitted.
No, they're going to leave the race out of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to just leave that. No. Shh.
Just
And
like
many of them didn't even have their pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you dirty motherfuckers.
Well, it's just like the Rittenhouse thing where, he shot 3 black people. No, he didn't. He shot a pedophile, domestic abuser, and a grandma slapper.
For the record, the guy they beat the shit out of died.
Yeah.
They were on trial for 2nd-degree murder.
Yeah. Fucking disgusting.
Truckin' Bear, thank you for becoming a member for month number 6.
Woo.
And member too. I don't know what's going to happen this summer, but I'm all stocked up on popcorn. Here's the other thing. They're desperate to do it as quickly as possible, but for their political future, it actually makes sense to keep things simmering and kick it off next year.
Yeah, I don't think it'll last that long. I think we're going to end up with a hot summer. It's good. I really think that there's going to be some, at least a foreshadowing of what's to come, because it can always get worse. But
yeah,
I think we'll see something either this summer or early fall. So give it time.
What I expect for this year, I hope it kicks off. I like riot season, Jack. As long as nobody gets killed, fuck it. I want to see these guys get pepperballed in the nuts. It's my favorite pastime.
I just want another Chaz where they're trying to build a sustainable autonomous zone and failing horribly at it.
Yeah.
That was so entertaining.
What I think they'll do is we're going to see protests during weekends and shit for things like the illegals, but it's not really going to touch off until next year because that's the election year.
Yeah. Well, that's when it needs to be a talking point, but finished by the time they're actually going to vote.
And that's what they get with their summer riots, because August comes around, people start going back to school, and the little hobos living off their parents have to go pretend they're learning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm in favor of riot season. I love it. I really do.
Well, it gave us so much entertaining coverage last time.
It did, and I miss it. I miss it so much.
Well, it hasn't been nearly as good as it was in 2020. That was really the popcorn year. I'm sitting here with my Freedom toasters and a big bowl of popcorn and just because it's not in my city. So, and I'm okay with that. If they want to burn Portland to the ground, I could give 2 shits.
Yeah,
Portland's a fucking dump. Same with Seattle. They've turned those cities into complete shitholes, and you get what you fucking deserve.
I know they are just waiting for the story, and one day we're gonna wake up, Jack, and the story is gonna happen. And
oh no, you're gonna go to sleep, and I'll be awake, going, "Oh shit, monkey, wake up, wake up!"
It's coming, though. I mean, the end of the month is Labor Day. Memorial Day. You're right. Yeah, Memorial Day, and that's what kicked it off in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think they're waiting.
You get your summer blockbusters in the movie theater, and then you get the fiery but peaceful outside.
Yep.
It's apparently just the way things have to go. So I don't know, man. It makes me a little nervous because people are fucking psychotic. But we're gonna see. I think Trump will handle it differently this time around.
I don't know that there's much Trump can do. I mean, last time at least there was the federal building involved, but if they keep this to state buildings or just running the street, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of options.
Well, thankfully, they're sanctuary cities most of the time, so he could just put a big fence around them and be like, "We'll just let it work itself out."
It'd be one thing, excuse me, if the governors are like, "Hey, we need the National Guard," and he's like, "All right, they're your guard. Go ahead and do it." But it's not like you can call the military in for that.
No, but what I'm hoping is that it inspires him to watch Escape from New York, and then he turns Manhattan into a giant prison.
I say
Love that movie.
as long as they're not killing anybody or doing too much damage, let them do it. Let people see what these little piss ants are doing.
Yeah, they'll get all tuckered out after a few days of not having anything. Just shut the electricity off in that area. Like if they take over another police station, shut the power off. Don't give them anything. Don't let them have anything, and let it get all Lord of the Flies in there. They already smell, so it's not going to change much there.
Thank you, Michael. I will never forget how the people like Sinatra were calling Chauvin unjustified. The propaganda machine turns and turns. What do you mean unjustified in pinning him down? I still say that once they notice he had no pulse, it's time to get off his back.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's come out since about that really shows that he didn't die from asphyxia. He died from heart problems and drug overdose. So,
but as far as I know, the cure for that is not kneeling on somebody. You didn't need to kneel anymore at that point. He had no heartbeat.
I honestly think that if they had gotten off of him and called the EMS over, it might have made that situation worse.
Maybe.
Because people were already fired up and screaming at him. They were way outnumbered. I don't know. I wasn't in that situation. That's a tough one, but I don't think Chauvin should be in jail. Not after it turns out there was like a heart tumor and the guy died of an obvious drug overdose.
I don't think he should be in jail for murder. Reckless indifference, I could definitely see.
Yeah, but murder,
not murder, no. And go back and check, because somebody told me you changed your opinion. Go back and check. Go all the way back. Go back. See what I said. I just don't think that it matters, honestly. Because if it wasn't Chauvin, if it wasn't the Chauvin thing that year, how many different things did we see? We saw Freddie Gray and Michael Brown and who was the guy? Eric Gardner selling the smokes out front.
Yeah.
I'm not going to jail again. Apparently not, fatso.
No, like sometimes there's a time and a place to argue with the cops, and that's not it. Take it to court. Like you're just gonna get a ticket, dude. Just take the ticket, okay? It sucks, but just take the ticket. It's a lot better than dying from a chokehold.
And he didn't even die of a chokehold. That's another one.
Yeah, he had like a heart attack or a stroke or something.
Yeah, because he was
fatty.
Fucking fat as shit.
Which one was the one they gave the rough ride to? Was that Freddie Gray?
Freddie Gray. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see that one I had a problem with. You can't do that. Much fun as it might be.
I can't say yes or no on that one because I mean we don't know that the rough ride is what hurt him.
It did look like that is what did it, but they still shouldn't have been doing that. I know it's tempting, but
he was throwing himself around in there. He should have been. If he just fought, get in the car and sit your ass down, he'd have been fine.
See, what they need to do is pad those things so that it's nice and padded so he can't hurt himself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they were looking for any excuse.
Of course. And they blow stuff way out of proportion.
Yeah.
So you can't trust the mainstream media to give you the reality of it until like 6 months after it happened. So
Well,
you're never going to get an honest story from them while it's still hot.
do you remember? I forget that kid's name, but he had been in Seattle and Portland. The young black kid who was trying to be philosophical. I forget his name. He was a big name at the time. Not in the world, but in watching these videos. We saw him constantly, and
I remember who you're talking about. That kid was annoying.
He sat in front of the cops there across the street from him. And he said, "Are you gonna sit on me like you guys did to George? Like, it's not even the right state, homie."
Yeah, and fuck 12 became a chant around the country. Dude, that's a Seattle specific thing. Calm down, okay?
Tamir Rice, yep, there was that one. They were desperate for their race war, and they kind of got it for a while.
Yeah, it didn't turn into the 1960s or anything, but
no,
they were trying desperately. It wasn't for a lack of the media's efforts.
Nope, the media and leftist politicians, the police were ridiculously restrained.
Yeah, if that had been my city when the nonsense happened in Seattle, it would have been a lot bloodier than it was.
In Seattle, when they take over the police station, there'd have been a lot of dead motherfuckers.
Yeah, I'd have been like, look, no, that's not happening here. This is not a assault on precinct 13, okay?
Yep. Same with Portland. You know how many of those people, if I was the cop, how many of them would not have got shot with pepper balls, but with lead balls?
Man, yeah, there'd be so much fucking live ammo going up. But that's why I'm not in charge of things. Because I have an authoritarian streak in me, I guess. In a strong sense of the rule of law. So I'm going to be running for chancellor.
Remember Chris Cuomo? Where does it say that protests have to be peaceful? Literally in the Constitution, motherfucker.
yeah, it's sort of written in there.
But that's the shit that they were peddling. First, it was you had two different news stations at two different fires with two different anchors standing in front of it going, mostly peaceful.
Yeah. They're lying right to your faces, and no shame whatsoever.
CNN got caught interviewing their own cameramen.
Yeah. They got called out by one of their own.
And these motherfuckers are the ones that people are getting their news from. This is why when Lady Monkey hears a news story and it's something sensational, she always comes to me and goes, "Is this true?" And like, pretty sure you got that from CBS, so I'll look into it, but no.
I'll look into it, but probably not.
Chances are no.
Yeah, it's like looking at a magic 8-ball. I'd say.
Yep.
Real quick though, thank you, Evolved Potato. The big problem in the cop trial, is the cop in the trial lied about what Chauvin was doing was against policy. Yeah, that came out later in the policy handbook where he was actually trained on that. Since it's come out that that very officer was on video teaching how to do that very restraint. Yeah, she was the training officer for it.
Yeah, Chauvin should not have gone to jail for murder. That is a bad charge.
Yeah, look, they might have got him on some lower charge, but murder was way out of line. And he knew he was a political puppet, so.
A lot of the times when Lady Monkey comes to me with those stories, thankfully it's CBS, so we've already covered them days or weeks earlier. But every so often she'll come to me and, "Did you hear this one?" Like, "No, but now I got to go read." Because I know they didn't. It's amazing to me how dirty our press is and how they get away with it. I mean, the press has a notoriously low approval rating, but it's very much like Congress. Congress has a notorious. Oh, real quick before we go on. Did you see Schumer the other day talking about Trump's low approval?
Like he's one to talk. He's losing to AOC.
He got called out for it. A
Really?
reporter asked him about. You're like, but your approval rating is even lower than Trump's.
Yeah, Congress has an approval rating below cockroaches.
But
Rightfully so.
but like with the press, Congress, those two groups, everybody will go, "Oh, I hate them," but they still have their favorite. Like people who I don't know. Let's Pelosi, right? They live in Pelosi's district. I know Congress sucks. I love Pelosi though. She's wonderful. And so instead of replacing her, even though Congress, they're like, I give Congress a 10, but she's 150%,
Yeah.
not age. She's only 148.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's a little haggard for only 150.
So people will say, like, yes, the news sucked, but they're talking about Fox News and they're liberals or they're conservatives and they love Fox News, but they hate CNN, which is the right way to be. Don't like Fox, but hate CNN.
Yeah, you can dislike all the others, but hate CNN because they fucking suck. They're such frauds, man.
Yeah. So on paper, it looks like they have really bad approval ratings, but it's conditional. It's all the other media sucks, not the one I watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it keeps happening, because it doesn't matter how many times CNN's anchors lie to their audience. They just tell them, hey, Fox sucks. And they're, yeah, Fox does suck. Lie to me some more.
Yeah. It gets very tribal for some reason.
Kamala's vaginal HPV. Well, I'll get back to that. It's because it's confirmation bias. They're hearing what they want to hear.
Yeah, I guess.
I had a conversation probably 2 weeks ago now with somebody, and they were listing off these bad things about Trump, and I just kept going, that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah.
Look it up. Don't take my word for it, but what you're saying is not true. Kamala's vaginal HPV tumor. Thank you so very much. Yeah, I'm a ham radio operator, just like Omegle/chat roulette for over 60s crowd without the dicks. Nice. Of course,
that's true.
Of course, the only things in common to talk about is radio they are running on or medical issues. Well, yeah, I mean, the people are still using ham radios. That's probably all they speak. Why do all old people just talk about their medical problems all the time?
They don't go anywhere. They just sit around and get old. So they're just bitching about their medical stuff. I mean, you find yourself doing it now, though, dude. You know, you think about it. You're like talking to somebody. Oh, what you been up to? Not much. Threw out my back the other day. You know, because you don't travel as much when you're over 60.
Well, I hear you. But as somebody with lots of medical problems, if somebody asks me that part of the conversation is very quick.
Yeah, because you're sick of talking about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
They don't have anything else to talk about. See, that's one of the interesting things about doing this show is that I read the news constantly from lots of sources. And I didn't used to do that nearly as much. But now I know what's going on in the world, so I can actually hold a conversation with people that only listen to CNN usually.
Yeah.
But I don't have to talk about like, I twisted my ankle and I'm getting the bends or something. That's what boring people do.
Fair enough. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, we're not boring. We're quite awesome.
My stepmother ran into somebody I worked with, and they'd been over with Lady Monkey and me before and hung out with us, so she recognized her and starts talking to her about my father's very personal medical problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that moment I'm like, I will never be like that.
Yeah, you just have to be interesting, dude. That's the great thing about having a hobby.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty awesome. And look, if next time you're on the ham radio, here's what you do. All right, you just start saying, "What do you think of the sky people?" or the cloud people, as Evolved calls them, and then just start educating them. Just make shit up; it'll be fun.
Pedro says, I'm a ham. It's true. Old farts drone on. They do.
Yeah, they love to talk about their problems, or find a TV show or a movie that you both like, or from that era, and talk to them about that. It'll distract them from their medical shit. Old people love to reminisce. So if you don't want to hear the medical stuff, start asking about like, hey, do you remember having one of these like Lincoln Flyers when you were a kid? Did you ever have one of those? Or do you know anyone that got hit in the eye with a jart? There you go. See, it's all about directing the conversation, because they will drone on about their medical shit all day long. But if you can move it to a topic you at least have a passing interest in, life will be better.
I like talking to old people who were in the military, mostly because I'm not somebody for small talk, and they will talk a long time. And by the time they're done, it's time for me to go somewhere else anyway.
Yeah, I met a deep sea diver one time. He was a welder for like oil rigs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that sounds awesome. Turned out to be really boring, but I was interested for about 5 minutes, and that's usually my time limit. And then I'm like, all right, I don't care anymore. But yeah, I got 5 minutes of fun knowledge out of that and decided that's not a job for me.
The guy who used to do AP at Walmart, his part-time job was underwater tree trunk cutting.
That sounds cool on paper.
Yeah,
giant pain in the ass in practicality.
Yeah, that he got paid very, very well to scuba dive and pull up tree trunks.
Yeah, that. Ooh. I imagine you'd get double the money in the bayou where there's like gators and shit.
None of that shit sounds fun to me. I like being underwater swimming, but I would not want to be one. I cannot breathe without my nose.
Well,
I wish I could.
You're an asthmatic too.
Well, there is that, but I scuba or snorkeling. I can't do any of that shit because I can't just breathe out of my mouth. I'm going to drown if I try that shit.
Oh yeah. I get that. Oh,
yeah.
Real quick. Thank you, Kamala's vaginal HPV tumor, for this generous donation. So there I was, getting a hand job under the bridge from Corky, which was the style at the time.
Nice.
I'm an OnlyFans. Can you imagine in like 30 years the reminiscing that some of the they thems are going to be doing?
I've thought about that lately because, okay, so I went to a thing tonight where there's lots of different music played throughout the different eras, and there is nothing memorable of any of the songs past like 2010.
They do get largely repetitive, predictable, and they sound the same.
And just from that, I'm like, what are you gonna? If you grew up in 2020, what song is it you're gonna look at in 20 years? And, oh man, that song was so great.
Yeah, things don't stick out. There's not that uniqueness that you used to have with people's vocals or the styles. It's all kind of samey because it all goes to that auto tune and a lot of the computer generated synthesized sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So it all kind of blurs together, and I don't understand the attraction to a lot of that. There are good bands out there that are like the old times, but not a lot that are like really innovative or women that with like really good voices. Somebody like Phil Collins or Neil Diamond, they couldn't make it now. They're too ugly.
Yeah.
Like Neil Diamond is hairy too, and he's Jewish. So
we were driving home and a Pat Benatar song came on.
Oh, nice.
That woman was so ugly.
She was, her hairstyles did not help her limited facial features. Not like Sheena Easton.
I remember growing up and the dudes at the time were like, she's so hot. And then I finally saw her. I'm like,
no,
That looks like a chipmunk with cheeks full of nuts ran face first into a wall.
Yeah, she's a real round face. She's a
Yeah.
very talented singer,
Yes.
but not an attractive woman. Not like
This was
Karen
ugly.
Carpenter.
Well, if you go back and you watch, like, especially early MTV, everybody on it could be cast in a British television show.
Oh yeah, there were a lot of uggos back in the day.
They were ugly as fuck. And you know what?
Can't be that way now.
They're singers. They're supposed to be ugly as fuck.
Yeah, they were still pulling more slash than I would probably ever see in my life,
Sure.
even with the internet. But they were troglodytes. Look at the
Yes.
lead singer of Warrant. That dude looked like he could have been the co-star on Last of Us.
And pulled down Bobby Brown. Damn.
I don't get it. Oh, the Bengals. Oh, they were an exception.
No, they weren't. No. One of the Bengals was an exception. Oh, two of them. I guess the chick with the hat, she was cute too.
There were more than two of them?
Yeah, there was the fat one and the really ugly one.
Oh, I don't remember them.
Nobody does. That's why they broke up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like Hot Blonde from Expose.
Yeah. Every song you would even have, like, one of my favorite songs ever is Eye of the Tiger. I fucking love it. Every time it comes on, it pumps me up.
That video though, where the
That
fat
video.
drummer dude comes on, you're like, what? Like, yeah, the lead singer is kind of like got a little bit of swagger. He looks a little gay, but you know, whatever. Then the other guys are like, all right, they're average. And then the fat dude comes out like, are you gonna go play D&D? What are you doing?
And he starts jamming on that keyboard. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, like what is happening? Or all of Journey.
Thank you, Donald. Okay, Monkey, what song from your 20s stands out? For me, it's Your Love. Oh god, there's so many good songs from my 20s.
That was a feminist donation.
Oh, thank you for that feminist $12, Donald. Thank you. I read the question and I immediately jumped to that. I'm so sorry.
From my 20s?
Probably Let Her Cry by Hootie and the Blowfish. That song is very, very, and every time it comes on, I belt that one out, Jack.
Your life makes me sad.
Love me some Hootie and the Blowfish. The first album, the second one sucked. And then Darius went and sang country, and I love his country stuff. But yeah, I mean, you have to remember, my 20s aren't like most people's 20s, especially these days, man. I was dad of 3 at that time and working a lot.
Yeah.
Hootie? Yeah, I can't say that other word, Monk, because I'm on YouTube, but I just want to be very clear here. You guys can judge what I do all you want. Won't change my opinion.
Yeah, I would have a hard time picking one. Even a handful of them from that era, because there was a lot of good music back then.
A lot of good music, yeah. See, the 80s gets all of the credit, but the good music actually starts around 84, maybe 83, and it lasts all the way for a lot of good music at one time, probably till about 95, 96.
Yeah, I pushed a little beyond that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it started getting kind of samey around the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep, it starts tapering off, especially with the rise of grunge. A lot of really good stuff went away, but there was still a lot of other stuff. A lot of alternative would have just been rock back in the day, Jack.
Yeah. But grunge did give us like Chris Cornell, which I'm a huge fan of, Soundgarden and Audio Slave, and even his solo stuff. I know that's controversial.
Not my jam, but I hear you.
Yeah, I didn't really get into hip hop or R&B stuff.
Oh, I love both.
Yeah, I could do that, and Booty and the Hoefish was just overplayed.
I would. Hootie and the Blowfish was way overplayed.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of alternative stuff too, like Orb, which is like techno almost, but there's no vocals. I was a big fan of October Project, and even some Jennifer Page at the time. A lot of pop stuff, and of course Danzig. Lots of heavy metal.
See, by then I wasn't really listening to much metal. Lady Monkey doesn't care for it, and most little kids don't like it.
Yeah, it's just like loud noises to them.
But I also didn't listen to much rap around them either, because Lady Monkey's not the hugest fan of it. But lyrics. So
yeah, you don't want to hear the N-word popping out of the back seat.
Then we got Nickelback. Love me some Nickelback.
Gross.
It's some of the best Canadians have ever done.
What? Bryan Adams is better than Nickelback.
I like some of Bryan Adams stuff, and some of it is It's not bad, it's just
You know what else I would rank higher than Nickelback? William Shatner.
That's just wrong. You're just being mean to Canadians now.
No, because he's Canadian. I'm being
NWA?
nice to a Canadian and mean to the other ones.
Love me some NWA. Love when Eazy-E went solo. I'm not a huge Ice Cube fan. I like some of his solo stuff. Did any of the other guys actually? I mean, I don't think any of the other guys really did anything. I mean, producing, sure, but not actual singing as much. I was talking to my son today about 2 Live Crew. He brought them up.
Wow, that's random.
Oh yeah. One of my proudest moments in life was my daughter is in her bedroom and suddenly I hear It's Tricky playing. And I was like, how the fuck do you even know that song? But her and her girlfriends love that song. I'm like, that's my girl. Anyway,
what bothers me about modern music fans is they don't go back and listen to the stuff that came before. When we were younger, you had to listen to whatever was on the radio. So whoever was driving got to set the music. So you were exposed to way more music. Now you can pick and choose. Like I have playlists, and I don't have to listen to stuff I don't want to, but I find new stuff all the time. But younger people don't really seem to branch out as much and listen. Like, remember Paul McCartney being on stage with who was it? Was it Diddy or somebody? And there was a famous interview where they said he's going to make that McCartney guy's career.
Yes, yeah. Fucking Paul McCartney. Yeah. I'm not a big Beatles fan or Wings fan or Paul fan, but know your place. At least listen to some. It's why I like watching those reaction channels where people who have never heard this shit before. And actually, I was talking because Little Red Corvette comes on.
Oh yeah.
And one of the reaction channels I watched, the lady, they were doing Little Red Corvette. And she goes, I don't really know this song, but I know my dad's nickname for my mom was Little Red Corvette because of this song. And then she listened to it and was horrified by it. Yep. No, I like a lot of like really old music. We left the thing tonight before they got to what they did, guys, is they went back in time. They started in the 2020s, and then each decade they played a couple of songs from it. And we left right after the 70s part. But I was looking ahead to the 60s and the 50s. They had really good songs on there. The final song was Rock Around the Clock.
Oh yeah,
that's
classic.
An excellent song.
Yeah, I mean, did they have it sounded like it was a depressing music list, but did they have like Del Shannon's Runaway?
No.
I love that song.
I don't even remember all the songs, and I didn't grab a program. So
you go back to like Buddy Holly or the Big Bopper. Those are very unique sounds. I mean, the Big Bopper, that dude was like a hideous troll. He was a big fat dude, and still had a unique vocal style.
It was sometime in the 80s. I don't remember when. It had to be around 85 or 86. We were living in Virginia Beach, and the Everly Brothers had a reunion concert on HBO. And my mom was psyched for it. And I was supposed to be in bed asleep, but I never slept when I was supposed to. I've always been a night owl, literally my whole life. Mm-hmm. And she caught me on the stairs just watching. And instead of sending me back to bed, she had me come sit on the couch with her and watch the Everly Brothers, and I've been hooked on them ever since. Wake Up Little Susie is one of my favorite songs.
Well, they had a little bit of a resurgence with was it Ghost? Had that one song in it?
That's the that's not the Everly Brothers. That's
I'm thinking the wrong one.
fuck, what is their name? The Righteous Brothers.
Oh yeah. My bad.
Oh my love. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a completely different style of music. And you go back to like old bluegrass, like the Carter Family.
Oh yeah.
Or any of the old time songs from like the 20s to the 40s. They all have a very unique sound. There's not a lot of crossover, you know.
Yeah, it's the name of the song's Unchained Melodies. That's the Righteous Brothers. If you guys have never heard it, go listen to Wake Up Little Susie and then just compare it to how people are today. Because they were just hanging out. They didn't actually do anything. They just fell asleep, and now he's really worried she's going to get a bad reputation and her parents are going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Today, it's like, Papa don't preach. And actually, that's like 40 years old now. We're so far past
now
that.
it's like
go ahead.
Instead of praise the Lord and pass the ammunition, it's don't tell anyone and hand me a coat hanger.
Well, it was God, the 90s, maybe 2000s, when Chris Rock has his special where he talks about how there's no subtlety in music anymore.
Yeah.
And me and Lady Monkey were talking about that with Little Red Corvette tonight. Like, you can listen to Little Red Corvette with kids around and they're not going to pick up on most of the meaning of that song.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a song like My Neck, My Back or WAP or so many songs today where it's just like dirty, nasty. You might as well just come out and say, let's fuck.
Well, look at the people, the intellect of the people that are doing it. But in the old days, a songwriter was a little bit more like educated and worldly.
Yeah.
Now it's like any dum-dum can become a singer for some reason. Because like Cardi B, she's stupid, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so many of them today are. They're idiots.
It's one, I like lyrics more than I like music. And I really do appreciate a well-written song.
Like WAP.
Like WAP, yes. I like a clever song or one that can, it's why I like country music, is because it elicits emotion. Or hard rock because it's all about partying and having fun. Or rap because it's about beating women.
Yeah.
And we need more of that. Just kidding, ladies. But I like good lyrics, and there's so many songs that get ruined for me because the lyrics are just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up here because I'm talking about, beating women. That's probably not a good thing. Guys, thanks for coming to hang out with us. Sorry this one wasn't news heavy. I'm not sorry it's not news heavy. If you were looking for news heavy, we'll do that another day. I have fun with these conversations, Jack, where we're just shooting the shit.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for the donations. You guys are so kind. Thank you for showing up. I've been gone for like 6 days and you guys are like, hey, we're here. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Jack, anything you want to show?
I dropped a link to a cool video. I'm not saying I need the watch time, but that would be wrong. But if you get a chance to check it out, please do so. As always, thank you so much. All the support you give us, it is greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the donations. And it's really great to see all of you again. So thanks for coming out, everybody.
Good show. I really do like the ones where we just talk, because we can hit on news on those ones. The ones where we watch a full video the whole time are so much easier to do because laughing at dumb people is a hobby of mine.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
But the conversational ones, these ones are some of my favorite. Thank you guys for indulging us. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
I'm always glad to be here.
Everybody, we love you. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.